Chapter 1701 Battle comparable to the legendary Lord of the Perfection Realm. The headquarters of the Alliance of Lords. Qin Yu got a little impatient, and he asked one last time, "I'll give you one more chance, are you willing to submit to me? If you don't answer again, then don't answer again." After speaking, Qin Yu's breath burst out. Boom. The entire space-time territory and the headquarters of the Alliance of Lords were almost banned by a terrifying force. Those eternal realms had no ability to move at all, as if everything was imprisoned, even the space-time was imprisoned. This is the strength of a legendary lord of the near-perfection realm, far exceeding the ordinary lord of the initial realm, and far exceeding the ordinary legendary realm. Such a terrifying breath, can the endless lord defeat such an existence? Lord Binghen was a little suspicious, and his heart began to sway. Not only was she suspicious, but even the other legendary lords were shaken. After all, they didn't want to fall. At this moment, Yi Tian finally arrived. If he didn't show up, if these 5 legendary lords all turned to Qin Yu, he would be fighting alone. "Master Qin Yu, this person is Yi Tian, the Endless Lord." When the Dark Mist Lord saw Yi Tian appear, he immediately said. Boom. Qin Yu slapped the Dark Mist Lord with a palm, and the Dark Mist Lord's body cracked, countless particles were annihilated, and he was directly injured. This is his body, not a clone, and he was almost killed in seconds. At this time, the Dark Mist Lord was very annoyed in his heart, but on the surface he showed a face of innocence. "Master Qin Yu, what did I do wrong?" the Dark Mist Lord asked. "Humph." Qin Yu snorted coldly and said, "Dark Fog Lord, you dare to play with this young master? You said that the Endless Lord is just an immortal lord, but is he an immortal lord now? He is clearly a legend, the lord of the realm, and it is not the first time to enter the legendary realm, but has reached the initial realm, and has reached the 7th step of the initial realm. It is the legendary realm with the highest cultivation base in your space-time territory. This young master hates others to deceive me the most. If you a bit of credit for bringing me here, or you'd be dead just now." "What, the legendary lord of the 7th step initial realm?" The Dark Mist Lord was dumbfounded. He carefully observed Yi Tian. Yi Tian is really a legendary lord, and he has stepped into the initial realm that he has dreamed of, and far surpasses the general initial realm, specifically reaching the initial realm of the first few steps. His realm is too low to look at, do not where. But there is no need for Qin Yu to lie to him. Qin Yu said that Yi Tian had reached the legendary lord of the 7th step initial stage, which must have been reached. For a moment, he didn't know how to explain it. After all, it hasn't been long since he fought with Yi Tian. No matter how talented Yi Tian is, in a place like the space-time territory, it would be quite good to be able to break through to the legendary realm lord by chance. The 7th step of the environment. This is not normal. If he was Qin Yu, he wouldn't believe this. "Master Qin Yu, I really didn't deceive you," Lord Dark Mist said anxiously. I saw Qin Yu wave his hand and let the Dark Mist Lord shut up. Now what is the truth? He is too lazy to care. He just wants to deal with the matter of Yi Tian right now, and he will talk about other things later. "You are very good. You can cultivate to the 7th step initial stage in a place like Yuanai. Are you willing to be my bodyguard?" Qin Yu invited. As for whether this invitation is sincere or not, only he himself knows. But even if it was a sincere invitation, Yi Tian could not agree. So, he directly refused. "Lord Zhen Yu, I don't have the habit of guarding others. This is the Yuanai space-time territory, and outsiders are not very welcome. If Lord Zhen Yu is okay, please leave." Wow! A cold breath burst out from Qin Yu's body, turning into endless killing intent, running through endless time and space, and rushing towards Yi Tian. "Dare to say that to me, you are courting death." Qin Yu made a move, and once he made his move, he had no intention of keeping it. He directly exploded with all his power, and unleashed one of his top legendary eternal skills, the Endless Fire Prison. Buzzing. It seems that the Endless Fire Prisons are constantly superimposed. In fact, this involves space and forms a kind of cycle. If there is not enough strength, it is impossible to break the Endless Fire Prisons, and they will be trapped in the Endless Fire Prisons. Fire power burns to death. What a horrible attack. One after another legendary lords evacuated one after another, daring not to touch Qin Yu's attack, and the 5 legendary lords of the space-time territory also fled. At this moment, Yi Tian's body erupted with extremely powerful power. Hiss! The Endless Fire Prison was directly smashed by Yi Tian, and the terrifying flame could not hurt Yi Tian at all. Yi Tian came out bathed in the escaping flames from the Endless Fire Prison, his body shook, and all those flames were annihilated. These flames of yours belong to some kind of eternal Tao flame, but unfortunately the power is still a little worse. Yi Tian said with a smile. Boom, the two collided and fought, and Qin Yu was directly knocked out after just fighting a few moves. Unexpected, a will-slashing sword completely composed of the eternal force came through. No matter how Qin Yu resisted it, the sword was still pierced through his body, and he was seriously injured. Legendary eternal skills. Impossible, you are just a beginning realm lord, how can you create legendary eternal skills? Even the legendary lords of many domain realms may not be able to create legendary eternals. Skill. Qin Yu shouted loudly. At this moment, his mood really collapsed. I thought this time was a big chance, but in the end I met a legendary lord like Yi Tian, a legendary lord with legendary eternal skills. Even in the infinite sea, he is also a legendary peerless King Qian's evildoer, far from he is comparable. No, I haven't lost, I still have the eternal treasure. Qin Yu thought. Immediately, he motivated his eternal treasure, the fire domain sword. This is the fire domain sword that can greatly increase his combat power. In the boundless sea, the fire domain sword is also the highest eternal treasure that can be ranked, not the lowest grade. After seeing Qin Yu holding the fire domain sword, his combat power was already comparable to that of the real legendary Lord of Perfection, and Yi Tian's strength just displayed was only comparable to that of the legendary Lord of Perfection. Kill. Qin Yu fought hard and didn't want to admit defeat at all. And he seemed to have forgotten that Yi Tian had several clones, but in fact Yi Tian only needed a duplicate body to defeat Qin Yu. Yi Tian saw Qin Yu cast the eternal treasure, he no longer hid it, and motivated his own primordial order. Chapter 1702 Easily crushed. The memory of the Dark Fog Lord. With the blessing of the primordial order, Yi Tian has created his own domain of will rules, and every legendary eternal skill can exert an extremely terrifying effect. At this moment, Yi Tian is comparable to a weaker legendary lord of the realm, and his strength is much stronger than Qin Yu. Boom! Qin Yu was directly hit by Yi Tian's eternal pole fist, and his body was cracked, and Qin Yu's attack fell on Yi Tian's will, and all were intercepted, and only a small part of the power penetrated into the will. Wall light, but it was invalidated by the real body of nothingness. In the end, none of Qin Yu's attacks could cause any damage to Yi Tian. On the other hand, every blow from Yi Tian was enough to seriously injure Qin Yu, so the battle between the two sides had become a foregone conclusion. Let's start together soon. Qin Yu was in a hurry and immediately ordered. Whoa! The group of legendary lords under Qin Yu were no longer silent, and they all came to help Qin Yu, and the Dark Mist Lord also gritted his teeth and went up to help the Dark Mist Lord. The matter has developed to this level, he can't reconcile with Yi Tian at all, I'm afraid that even other legendary lords will not be polite to him. Rather than this, it is better to directly choose 860 to deal with Yi Tian, in case the situation can really be reversed, there is still a chance of survival. With so many legendary lords, the individual strength is not strong. If they cooperate with Qin Yu, it will be of great help. But at the moment when they were about to start, Yi Tian's copy body shot, and the other legendary realm lords in the space-time territory did not stand by and chose to take action to resist these legendary realm lords from the boundless sea. And the Dark Mist Lord was also stared at by Yi Tian's replica body. Although this replica body does not have the eternal treasure, its combat power is comparable to that of the legendary Lord of Perfection. The Dark Mist Lord is only a mere ordinary legendary lord. Where is Yi Tian? Opponent. If it was in the past, the Dark Mist Lord was still qualified to fight Yi Tian once or twice, but now there is no chance at all. Come and help me. The Dark Mist Lord panicked and asked other legendary realm lords to help him resist Yi Tian's duplicate body, but everyone else had their own opponents, so how could they help him? Wow! The Dark Fog Lord cast the Dark Fog shadow body and turned into a shadow body. And at this time, Yi Tian directly used the legendary eternal skill, Billion Void. Countless voids were compressed into one layer, directly causing the shadows of the Dark Mist Lord to collapse. At the moment when the Dark Mist Lord fell, Yi Tian stopped and only sealed it. Right now, the Dark Mist Lord is still valuable and cannot be killed. Next, Yi Tian's several copies of his body shot and smashed the legendary lords to death. After a while, only Qin Yu was left here, and all his subordinates were killed. Lord Endless, this is just my clone, how about letting me go? Qin Yu confessed. Not good. Yi Tian refused. Lord Boundless, I am a member of the Qin family of Boundless Sea, do you really want to be my enemy completely? Qin Yu said furiously. An eternal treasure, worthy of my enemy. Yi Tian said with a smile. Qin Yu couldn't refute, the value of the eternal treasure is indeed very high. If he didn't think Yuan I was too weak and would not fall, otherwise he would not let this clone come with the eternal treasure sword of fire. The value of a piece of eternal treasure is enough to make two legendary realm lords turn against each other. Yi Tian will indeed kill him for the eternal treasure. If it were him, he would definitely do it. As for threats, if threats are useful, there won't be so many fights in Boundless Sea or other places. Whoa. Several of Yi Tian's clones joined forces to attack Qin Yu, completely making Qin Yu lose the last hope of escape. Soon, Qin Yu was on the verge of death, and at this time Yi Tian did not choose to kill the opponent but chose to seal it up. This is to capture the eternal treasure fire domain sword in his body. If Qin Yu were killed, the fire territory sword would form a gap in time and space, in a time and space that was difficult to reach. At that time, Yi Tian would need to comprehend the eternal Tao within the fire territory sword and cultivate to the entry-level realm. The fire domain sword can be reached. But if Qin Yu was still alive, if he forcibly deprived the fire domain sword and then forcibly refined it, the fire domain sword would not be able to escape into time and space, and if he killed Qin Yu at that time, he would still be able to touch the fire domain sword. The real way to take away the fire domain sword. At the beginning, Yi Tian didn't expect this kind of method, plus there was a prison there was a lot of inconvenience. But now, Yi Tian doesn't need to take care of it. Wow, Yi Tian's copy body left here with the sealed Qin Yu and the Dark Mist Lord, and went to the Blood and Bone territory. As for the corpses of other legendary lords, Yi Tian gave one to the 5 legendary lords, and the treasures on their bodies were also left to the 5 legendary lords. This was negotiated before, otherwise, the 5 legendary lords would not be so decisive. Shot. The entire net worth of a legendary lord of Wulianhai, how many treasures are contained in it? The 5 legendary lords are also very curious, and there may be treasures that will help them break through or inheritance. Immediately, the 5 legendary lords went back to check the harvest one by one. As for the consequences and impact of this matter, they can be discussed slowly in the future, and there is no need to worry for the time being. One of Yi Tian's duplicate bodies handles Qin Yu's affairs, and the other duplicate body handles the affairs of the Dark Mist Lord. He wants to get some information from the Dark Mist Lord, such as the information on the Infinite Sea, how to go to the Infinite Sea and so on. Let the Dark Mist Lord take the initiative to say, it is almost impossible. The Dark Mist Lord is likely to guess his ending, so it is impossible to tell the truth. Even if he does, it is likely to be a trap. Therefore, if you want to obtain real information, you can only forcibly disintegrate the will of the Dark Mist Lord, so as to obtain his memory. If it is the same level, it can't be done at all, but Yi Tian is much stronger than the Dark Mist Lord, so there is a certain hope to obtain his memory. In order to be successful, Yi Tian first copied the Dark Mist Lord's body and used this cloned body to conduct experiments. After a long period of experimentation, Yi Tian was confident enough to capture the Dark Mist Lord's memory before he started. Among Yi Tian's strong willpower lords, because Yi Tian is too familiar with the will of the Dark Fog Lord, he took it lightly but returned it to the Lord. Pita, Deu. But the memory is already in hand, Yi Tian doesn't care anymore. Immediately, he obliterated the Dark Mist Lord. Chapter 1703 Prepare to build a time-space ladder. Yi Tian browsed the memories of the Dark Mist Lord, and only browsed the memories he wanted, and soon knew the location of the Infinite Sea. In fact, the Infinite Sea is not very far from the Source Sea, but if you want to go to the Infinite Sea, you need to pass through 2 dangerous places. Purple Aurora Field, Dark Barrier. The Purple Aurora region is a special area in the Void area. That area is completely covered by a purple ray of light. It is a forbidden area. Even the Void Beasts dare not enter there, because they do not have the strength of the legendary realm lords. The purple power assimilates and becomes a part of the Purple Aurora. It is said that the Purple Aurora is expanding every eternity year, and the energy required for expansion is alien creatures. Moreover, the Lord of the Legendary Realm can enter the Purple Aurora realm without dying, but it will also be suppressed, because in the Purple Aurora realm, the speed of the Legendary Realm Lord will be very slow, and once he enters the Purple Aurora realm, he will not be able to find the direction at all. I don't know how long it takes to fly through the Purple Aurora field. In the face of the unknown, the legendary lords of the space-time territory tried to pass through the Purple Aurora field, but they did not persevere in the end, or they gave up without finding the right direction. After all, there is no chance in the Purple Aurora field. Not worth their probing. If you pass through the Purple Aurora field and find the right direction, you can enter another void area, and after flying a certain distance, you can reach the Dark Barrier. This is an endless barrier formed entirely by dark power. There is not enough the strength of, can't break the dark barrier at all, and can't continue to move forward. Basically, the Lord of the legendary realm has the strength to break the dark barrier and enter another area. Passing through these two places, you can reach the void area where the infinite sea is located, and when you get there, it is easy to fly to the infinite sea. But the 6 legendary lords of Yuan have not completely flown through the Purple Aurora region from beginning to end, because they do not know, otherwise they will try to fly over the Purple Aurora region at all costs. Now that Yi Tian knew this secret, it would naturally be easy to find the infinite sea. At the beginning, the Dark Mist Lord estimated that he was desperate. He wanted to escape from this area, broke into the Purple Aurora region, accidentally crossed the Purple Aurora region, and then passed through the dark barrier, and then found the infinite sea. Yi Tian murmured. In addition, from the memories of the Dark Mist Lord, he found that the Dark Mist Lord was not captured as soon as he entered the infinite sea, but was accidentally caught by Qin Yu after living in the immeasurable sea for a period of time. The sea also has a certain understanding. For example, the general situation of Boundless Sea, and the strength of the Qin family. The Qin family is a top force in the Boundless Sea. It has a half-step legendary lord, 3 Transcendental Realm Legendary Lords, 6 Realm Legendary Lords, and more than a dozen Perfection Realm Legendary Lords. As for the initial Realm Legendary Lord, the Qin family, the number is even more. And Qin Yu was highly valued in the Qin family, so he was given an eternal treasure. An eternal treasure is not only extremely precious to Qin Yu, but also very important to the Qin family. It can be said that it is impossible for the Qin family to just forget about it, and they will definitely come to seize an eternal treasure. At that time, it will not be Qin Yu, but the legendary lord of the Qin family's realm, and it may even be a legendary lord of transcendence. No matter how strong Yi Tian's strength is, he can't compete with the powerhouses of the Qin family. Of course, Yi Tian also had several options. First, after leaving Yuan, neither the Qin family nor Qin Yu could find him. Second, find a backer, so that the Qin family is extremely jealous, so that they can't deal with him. At this time, Yi Tian thought of a force: there is no holy place. Really, no holy land is the power of the Boundless Sea that is truly above the peak, far from being comparable to the Qin family. Before, Yi Tian learned about the situation about the true holy place from the Moshan prisoners, but that was a long time ago, and now he has also found the situation about the true holy place from the memory of the Dark Fog Lord, because the Dark Fog Lord I also specifically inquired about the Holy Land. Today's true no holy land has indeed lost its original glory, because a war broke out in the Boundless Sea a long time ago, and the true holy land was also one of them. Many forces perished in that battle. Although the true holy land did not perish, but the loss is also very heavy, and the legendary lord alone has lost 5. But even so, the holy land is still the pinnacle of the Boundless Sea. However, since that battle, the true Holy Land has not accepted many members, and the requirements are much higher, and the requirements for joining the true Holy Land are very high. I have also gained a lot of benefits from the ruins of the Holy Land. Maybe I have a relationship with the Holy Land, but I can join this force. From the memory of the Dark Mist Lord, I know that the Infinite Sea is connected with many powerful eternal seas. There are also other legendary realm lords of the Eternal Sea who have joined the forces of the Infinite Sea, so I am also qualified to join the Holy Land. Yi Tian secretly said. Ask for flowers. It was too slow to fly directly from Yuan to Immeasurable Sea. Perhaps when he arrived at Immeasurable Sea, the Qin family's strong men had already arrived at Yuan, so it was too late. There is only one way. The time-space ladder must be built. Yi Tian decided. The time-space ladder is a way for the Infinite Sea to reach other eternal seas. It uses the eternal treasure to superimpose layers of time and space, and then uses the secret technique of time-space ladder to construct a time-space ladder channel that can lead to other eternal seas. Point 0. And Yi Tian now knows the space-time position of the void area of the Infinite Sea, and he is now in the Sea of Origin, so he can naturally calculate the position of the Sea of Origin. The Dark Mist Lord had entered the Infinite Sea by mistake. He did not know the time and space position of the Source Sea in the void area. After all, this thing is the invention of the Infinite Sea. It can only be calculated slowly after returning. Otherwise, it can be directly help Qin Yu build the time-space ladder. Dark Mist Lord and Qin Yu are really my chance. If it wasn't for them, how would I know the location of the Boundless Sea, and how would I know the time-space ladder? The time-space ladder is the secret technique of the Rotten Street in the Infinite Sea. The only problem is the eternal treasure, which is very rare. Not many legendary lords have it, but Yi Tian has it, and there are more than one, so he can build the time-space ladder. On the other hand, after Yi Tian took the Eternal Supreme Fire Domain Sword from Qin Yu, he immediately bombarded Qin Yu, and immediately began to build the space-time ladder. Boundless Sea, Qin family. Qin Yu immediately felt that his avatar had fallen, and was immediately furious. He knew that his eternal treasure, the Fire Territory Sword, was completely taken away by Yi Tian, so he was not going to hide it. He wanted to inform the Qin family that even if he was punished, he would contribute a position in the unfamiliar Eternal Sea, which would be enough to make up for his fault and even have a big credit to it. So, he came to the main hall of the Qin family and asked to see the ancestors of the Qin family. Chapter 1704 The Mobilization of the Qin family, entering the Boundless Sea. The ancestor of the Qin family that Qin Yu wanted to meet was naturally the ancestor of his lineage. He was a legendary lord of the Transcendence realm. The legendary lord in the Boundless Sea was too mysterious, and the half-step legendary lords were all retreating and attacking the legendary realm. The number is scarce. In fact, the legendary lord of Transcendence is the overlord on the surface of Wuliang Hyaming, which is enough to shock the quartet. Qin Yu's ancestor was named Qin Wuyuan, and he was not weak among the legendary lords of Transcendence, and he had a certain reputation in Boundless Sea. The next generation, Qin Yu, asks to see the ancestor. Qin Yu stood outside the hall and shouted, "Come in." Qin Wuyuan said, "Wow." The door of the hall opened, and Qin Yu walked in. Soon, he met Qin Wuyuan. Qin Wuyuan, dressed in a black robe, sat on the throne, looked at Qin Yu quietly, and asked, "Qin Yuan, have you come to see me and cause trouble for 860?" 1. Qin Yu immediately said, "Ancestor, I lost the Fire Domain Sword." Boom. The detached aura was suppressed, causing Qin Yu to tremble all over. Between the initial realm and the detachment realm, there is a perfection realm and a realm, and the strength gap between the two is too great. Therefore, Qin Yu couldn't resist the aura of the ancestor at all, and of course he didn't dare to resist. The Fire Domain Sword is the eternal treasure of our Qin family. Although our Qin family is very old, there are only less than 20 eternal treasures. You can get one eternal treasure at the beginning. It is the Qin family who values you. You have lost an eternal treasure. Do you know how much loss this is to the Qin family? Qin Wuyuan was extremely angry. If it wasn't for Qin Yu being a genius of the Qin family, and he had high hopes for him, otherwise he really wanted to slap Qin Yu to death. Qin Yu hurriedly said, "Old ancestor, although I lost the Fire Domain Sword, I found a very weak Eternal Sea. This Eternal Sea has only a few legendary lords. The most powerful one is the original, the legendary lord of the realm, but the opponent's strength is much stronger than mine, and has the eternal treasure, and even created the legendary eternal skill, which almost has the weaker combat power of the legendary lord of the realm. The new Eternal Sea, tell me its approximate location, I will check it. If it is a site of a powerful force, we can't gnaw this site." Qin Wuyuan said. "Yes, old man." Qin Yu immediately reported the location of Yuanai. Qin Wuyuan immediately started to investigate, and soon after, he found that there was really no record of Yuanai in Infinite Sea. It was indeed a brand new Eternal Sea, and it was very weak, so the Qin family could easily occupy the Eternal Sea. An Eternal Sea, how high is its value? The Qin family will even rise completely because of this, and become a legendary family. Compared to an Eternal Sea, the Fire Region Sword is indeed not worth mentioning. It is a pity that Qin Yu did not enter Yuanai. He went directly to the Lord headquarters of the space-time territory, so he did not go to Yuanai in time to calculate the space-time coordinates of Yuanai in the Void region. Otherwise, the Qin family could directly construct the space-time ladder now. Go to the Source Sea. Qin Yu didn't know that this kind of thing would happen. If not, he would definitely enter Yuanai first and calculate the space-time coordinates of Yuanai. In order to let the Qin family control the Source Sea as soon as possible, Qin Wuyuan dispatched 3 top legendary lords of the Domain Realm, plus 6 legendary lords of the Perfection Realm and many legendary lords of the Initial Realm, to go to the Source Sea together. Led by 3 legendary lords of the realm, the speed will be very fast. As for the legendary Lord of Detachment, it is not suitable to be dispatched. After all, the Qin family is not without enemies. If the legendary Lord of Detachment is dispatched, it will inevitably cause shocks. If the location of Yuanai is leaked, there will be other forces competing with the Qin family. Source Sea. Time and space continued to rise and fall, and layers of time and space appeared around the primordial order, and immediately, under Yi Tian's secret technique of time and space ladders, it gradually turned into layers of steps, extending into the depths of time and space like stone steps. At first, these stone steps were relatively illusory, but they soon became solid, like real stone steps. These stone steps are completely condensed by the power of time and space, and they contain the original power of the source sea, so they are very stable. Even the ordinary legendary lords can hardly destroy such time and space steps. If the time and space steps are connected to the boundless sea, they will receive. If the source of infinite sea is reinforced, it is difficult for Yi Tian himself to destroy such a time-space ladder, unless it takes a long time to destroy it. In addition, the time-space ladder is one way, which is also for safety. If it is a two-way time-space ladder, who would dare to build a time-space ladder indiscriminately? The space-time ladder can only go up, not down. If you have entered the infinite sea from the source sea and want to come back, you can only build a time-space ladder from the infinite sea to come back. Time passed slowly, and after a long time, the time-space ladder was finally completed. A wave of fluctuations came, and the time-space ladder was connected to the infinite sea. With the source reinforcement of the boundless sea, the time-space ladder became extremely stable and solid. It's done, Yi Tian said excitedly. However, in order to build the space-time ladder, the primordial order consumes a lot of money, and it takes a long time to repair it to be in good condition. This may be the only price for building the space-time ladder. It's time to enter the boundless sea, and find the true Holy Land as quickly as possible, and then join the true Holy Land. Yi Tian muttered. Immediately, Yi Tian stepped into the space-time ladder step by step, bearing the pressure from the endless space-time. Fortunately, his strength is strong enough to complete the time-space ladder. If those immortal realm lords are really unable to pass the time-space ladder. Yi Tian's speed is not slow, he stepped through the layers of the time-space ladder, and after a long time, he really came to the end of the time-space ladder. Here is a door of time and space. Yi Tian pushed open the door of time and space and entered the boundless sea. 5.8. Infinite Sea, a sea area. The sea water here is actually the same as the source sea, which is formed by the accumulation of endless source energy. There is a lot of open space around. Yi Tian first entered here, and he doesn't know where it is. Subsequently, he kept flying, and after flying for a long time, he saw a boundless island in the vast sea. This should be an infinite island. Yi Tian guessed. The space-time territory outside the boundless islands, the boundless island is a prosperous place. Although Yi Tian doesn't know the situation of this immeasurable island, he will soon prepare to enter here. At the very least, he needs to know where he is now, and then inquire about the location of the true holy place, or go to the true holy place. Wow! Yi Tian entered this boundless island from the boundless sea. Chapter 1705. There are really no islands. This immeasurable island is very huge, even many times larger than the ordinary space-time territory in the Yuanai space-time territory, and the cultivation environment here is very good. After Yi Tian entered this immeasurable island, he inspected the copy talent and sensed a large number of practitioners, including many practitioners in the Supreme Realm, but the existence of the Eternal Realm is still extremely rare. If the Eternal Realm is everywhere, then strange. After all, no matter how powerful the Infinite Sea is, it is also an eternal sea. Like the Source Sea, there is no difference in essence. Therefore, it is extremely difficult to become an eternal realm in the Infinite Sea. And this infinite island is probably just an ordinary infinite island in the infinite sea, so it is very normal that there is no eternal realm. But, after Yi Tian used the copy talent to investigate a circle, he still found several eternal realms, but their strengths were not very strong, and the most powerful eternal realm was only the Lord of the Unextinguishable Realm. Yi Tian hid his strength, searched for news on this boundless island, and quickly learned about the situation on this boundless island. This immeasurable island is called Thunder Tortoise Holy Island, and it is one of the immeasurable islands under the 29 command of Lord Lehe, and Lord Lehe is a legendary lord. Yi Tian had no interest in the Lehe lord, so he only inquired about the situation of the true holy place, and after a long time of inquiries, he roughly inquired about the approximate location of the true holy place. Then, Yi Tian left here and shuttled towards that direction. After that, Yi Tian passed by several immeasurable islands, and after inquiring many times, he finally knew the exact location of the true No Holy Land. There is no holy place in an infinite island group. The island group is a super large and prosperous area formed by a large number of infinite islands. There are many eternal and infinite islands. Such a place is a place where the real top powers must compete. And really no holy place is very powerful, and naturally has the strength to occupy such a treasured place. This treasure land is also known as the Junwu Archipelago, but many years ago, the legendary realm powerhouses of the Junwu Holy Land mobilized the source of the boundless sea in the surrounding area to form a source barrier, similar to a water curtain, which must pass through the water curtain. Only then can they reach the Junwu Archipelago, and practitioners whose strength is not in the eternal realm will not be able to reach the Junwu Archipelago at all. Therefore, many cultivators who are relatively weak do not understand the situation of the real No Archipelago and the No Holy Land at all. This day, Yi Tian came to the source barrier outside the Junwu Archipelago. Countless infinite sea source energies flew out from the infinite sea, forming a water curtain barrier that spread across the sky, preventing practitioners from entering the Junwu Archipelago. Yi Tian lightly touched the source barrier, and it was very tough. Without the strength above the 8 extreme realm or eternal realm, it is indeed impossible to break through this layer of barrier. Wow! Yi Tian tore this layer of source barrier lightly, and stepped into the area where the True Wu Islands were located. So many limitless islands! Yi Tian exclaimed. He looked around and only sensed it a little. There were tens of thousands of infinite islands in the distance, including thousands of huge eternal space-time islands. When approaching these immeasurable islands, Yi Tian also saw a person named Eternal Realm shuttle in the immeasurable sea between the immeasurable islands. It seems very common for the Eternal Realm to exist here. There are many, many Eternal Realms here, and even the legendary Realm Lords are nothing here. Yi Tian entered an immeasurable island at will, and he was not subject to any censorship. As a source of sea life, his breath is somewhat out of tune with the boundless sea, so it is easy to see that he is not a person from the boundless sea, but many other eternal sea life will enter boundless sea, so no one will care about this, unless it is another eternal sea powerhouse from the legendary realm who comes here, it will be focused on. And the legendary lord of the initial realm will not be so concerned by the Holy Land. Yi Tian was in Junwu Archipelago mainly to inquire about how to join Junwu Holy Land, and he didn't care much about other news. Soon, he inquired about the information. The True No Holy Land itself has a huge number of disciples, and the native residents of the True Nothing Archipelago have provided a large number of disciple candidates for the True No Holy Land, so the True No Holy Land does not lack disciples, but outsiders want to join the True No Holy Land. Is also possible, but the Holy Land has extremely high requirements for outsiders. First of all, one must not join the legendary forces of Boundless Sea, and the second cultivation base must reach the Eternal Realm. As for the practitioners under the Eternal Realm, no matter how high your talent is, it is useless. If you cannot break through to become the Eternal Realm, no matter how powerful your combat power is, you are just a waste. It is like many 8-pole half-step Eternal Realm powerhouses, who seem to be very powerful, but if they cannot break through, they will be like this for a lifetime, and the rules of the Infinite Sea are similar to the space-time territory, which does not reach the Eternal Realm and has a lifespan. Therefore, if there is no Holy Land and no practitioners under the Eternal Realm are accepted, the minimum threshold for joining is the Eternal Realm. The above two requirements are the most basic requirements, but they are not standards. If you want to join the Holy Land, either there is a recommendation from the top of the Holy Land, or you must pass through the Holy Tower. The True No Holy Pagoda is a building for the True No Holy Land to test its combat effectiveness. The stronger the strength, the stronger the opponents encountered in the True No Holy Pagoda. Therefore, it is not that the higher the strength, the higher the 860 floors. The external requirement of Junwu Holy Land is that they must pass through the 9th floor of Junwu Holy Pagoda before they can join Junwu Holy Land. Moreover, it is forbidden to use any powerful secret treasures and weapons, such as eternal treasures, if there is no holy tower in the real world. Junwu Sacred Tower is very lively in Junwu Archipelago, because there are often outsiders who break into Junwu Sacred Tower, but very few eternal realms can pass through the 9th floor. They just take passing through Junwu Sacred Tower as a test of strength as a standard. If someone breaks into a high number of towers and publicizes it, even if there is no holy place, there are other legendary forces who will come to win over. There is not much time left for Yuan. I still have to break through the 9th floor of Junwu Holy Pagoda as soon as possible and become a member of Junwu Holy Land. If I join Junwu Holy Land, even the so-called Qin family will have to afraid of me, did not dare to attack Yuan. Yi Tian muttered. Wow! Yi Tian came to Baoan Island, the eternal and infinite island where the Holy Pagoda is located, which is one of the main islands of the Holy Land. When Yi Tian appeared near Junwu Sacred Pagoda, there were already a lot of eternal realms here, and they were all watching the excitement. Obviously, there were many people entering Junwu Sacred Pagoda. Yi Tian was not in a hurry to enter the Junwu sacred pagoda, but watched on the sidelines for a while. After all, no matter how in a hurry, don't be in a hurry for this minute and a half. Chapter 1706 Climbing the Tower. Everyone is shocked. In front of the true holy tower, a huge projection shows the achievements of a famous passerby. Yi Tian saw that 16 Eternal Realm Lords were displayed on the projection, and the cultivation level of each Eternal Realm Lord was displayed. At present, the best performer is a legendary Eternal Realm powerhouse named Silver Moon Lord. At this time the opponent has already reached the 7th floor. Yi Tian watched for a while, and suddenly Lord Silver Moon broke into the 8th floor. This suddenly completely shocked the many Eternal Realm Lords who were watching outside. Lord Silvermoon actually broke into the 8th floor. If you pass through the 8th and 9th floors, even if you can't pass the 10th floor, you can still join the real Holy Land, and join the real holy place in the way of breaking through the real No Holy Tower. No Holy Land is not an ordinary disciple, at least it is a very high position. It's a bit difficult for Lord Silvermoon to break through the 9th floor. I've heard of Lord Silvermoon. It is said that she is the daughter of a certain transcendental lord. She has good strength, but she doesn't have any outstanding records. Maybe you can get through the 9th floor. After all, no matter how powerful they are, they won't really show it. However, Lord Silvermoon's father is the Lord of Transcendence, so she doesn't need to join the Holy Land. The legendary Lord of the Transcendental Realm is nothing to the real Holy Place, but the real Holy Place has a legendary Realm Lord, and joining the real Holy Place will have a backer, let alone a father of a Transcendental Realm legendary Lord. Even if there is a half-step legendary Realm Lord father, you can also choose to join the Holy Land, and have a more powerful backer. That's right, for me, the legendary Lord of Transcendence is an unimaginable existence, but for the Holy Land, it's really nothing. It's time to go to the Junwu Holy Tower. Yi Tian secretly said. Wow. He entered the Junwu Sacred Pagoda, and the Junwu Sacred Pagoda directly probed into his basic information, such as from other eternal seas, and the name of the Endless Lord, which can be deduced from the innate eternal rules, unless Yi Tian deliberately hide. Soon, the name of the Endless Lord appeared on the projection screen outside. As for the Endless Lords, the Eternal Realm Lords outside didn't care much. After all, Yi Tian hasn't had any achievements yet, so there is nothing to be concerned about. On the first floor of the true No Holy Pagoda, Yi Tian encountered 3 legendary lords of the initial realm. The cultivation base was the same as Yi Tian, and he was in the 7th step of the initial realm. Yi Tian only needs to defeat them, and he can pass through the first layer. And the strength of these 3 legendary lords is naturally very weak, basically any initial state legendary lord can easily defeat them. As predicted, Yi Tian instantly killed them with one move, and passed through the first floor of the true No Holy Pagoda. Afterwards, Yi Tian broke through the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th floors, gradually attracting the attention of some Eternal Realm Lords outside. On the 7th floor of the true No Holy Pagoda, Yi Tian entered here and quickly defeated the 3 initial realm legendary lords here. In fact, the legendary lord of the 7th floor is already very powerful, beyond the normal level. At this time, Yi Tian broke through the 7th floor and suddenly became famous. Even if Yi Tian did not cross the 9th floor, his reputation would definitely spread. At this time, the Eternal Realms outside were discussing Yi Tian. Who is this Endless Lord W? Isn't it mentioned above? It's not the legendary Lord of Immeasurable Sea, it should be the legendary Lord of other eternal seas, as for which eternal sea, there is no way to find out if there is no holy tower. We can't fully recognize the legendary lords of the infinite sea, and we naturally don't know about the other legendary lords of the eternal sea. However, from today onwards, this legendary lord named Endless Lord will spread his fame in the infinite sea. This Endless Lord is very fast in breaking through the tower, maybe there is still hope to break through the 9th floor and join the true holy tower. Soon, Yi Tian passed the 8th floor again, and it didn't take long to pass the 9th floor. All of a sudden, the people outside the Eternal Realm were shocked. The Endless Lord has really passed the 9th floor and is about to become a member of the Holy Land. However, Yi Tian didn't leave the Junwu Sacred Pagoda. Although he didn't know what would be the benefit of continuing to break through the 10th and 11th floors, the higher the number of layers, the higher the status in the Junwu Sacred Ground. Qualified to let the true unsacred land bless the Source Sea. If they were just ordinary Holy Land disciples, they wouldn't necessarily be able to make the legendary lords of the Qin family feel jealous. The 10th floor still did not stop Yi Tian, and Yi Tian passed it very easily. When Yi Tian broke into the 11th floor and was fighting against the 3 legendary lords of the initial realm on the 11th floor, the Silver Moon Lord passed through the 8th floor and was attacking the 9th floor. After a while, Yi Tian broke into the 12th floor, and the Silver Moon Lord was still on the 9th floor. At this time, more Eternal Realm is paying attention to the Silver Moon Lord. After all, Yi Tian will definitely be able to join the Holy Land, and there is no sense of expectation. As for how many levels they can pass through, they are shocked in addition to being shocked. I don't know what to say. What? Time passes slowly. Boom. The 9th floor is displayed behind the name of the Silver Moon Lord, which means that the Silver Moon Lord has finally passed the 9th floor. Not long after, Lord Yinyu came out of the True No Holy Pagoda. Obviously, she was defeated on the 10th floor and could not continue to break through, but she still passed the entrance examination of the True No Holy Land. When the Silver Moon Lord came out of the True No Holy Pagoda, one named Eternal Realm congratulated, "Congratulations to the Silver Moon Lord for successfully joining the True No Holy Land." Lord Silver Moon was also in a good mood, and said, "Thank you for your congratulations." Suddenly, she found that many Eternal Realm eyes were still staring at the projection screen, so she looked over curiously. Seeing this, she was immediately dumbfounded. Endless Lord, the 12th floor. This means that this legendary lord King Qian's called Endless Lord has already passed the 12th floor. And she just passed the 9th floor. Her inner joy was suddenly reduced by half, and she was deeply stimulated. Who is this Endless Lord? The Silver Moon Lord asked curiously. At this time, an Eternal Realm said, "Silver Moon Lord, who this Endless Lord is, we don't know. He entered the Junwu Sacred Tower after you. No one knows him, nor who he came from." Eternal Sea. 1. Seeing that the Silver Moon Lord didn't know the other Eternal Realms, he no longer asked but watched silently. She was very curious about how many floors Yi Tian was able to pass through the True Wu Sacred Pagoda, and the difference in strength between the opponents on each floor was not very big, but after the 12th floor, the difficulty of passing through each floor was enormous. After another period of time, Yi Tian passed the 15th floor. At this time, Yi Tian also felt some pressure. Chapter 1707 Heavenly Rank Saint Child. There is no 15th floor of the Holy Tower. Yi Tian faced the legendary lord of the initial realm of this layer, and had to use the legendary eternal skill, otherwise there would be no system at all to break through this layer. When Yi Tian displayed the legendary eternal skill, he easily defeated the opponent on the 15th floor. 16th floor, 17th floor, 18th floor. The strength of the opponents on each floor did not improve too much, but on the 19th floor, Yi Tian had to go all out to defeat the opponent even if he had displayed the legendary eternal skill. Yi Tian reckoned that he would not be able to break through a few more floors, perhaps the 20th floor was his limit. Finally, Yi Tian came to the 20th floor. The opponents on this layer are very powerful. All 3 opponents can display legendary eternal skills. Yi Tian has displayed many legendary eternal skills such as Void Step, Billion Void, Will Wall Light, and Void True Body, which is enough to compete with them. Boom! The entire 20th floor seems to have turned into a place of annihilation. The fight between the two sides has torn apart all the rules here, but even so, there is no way to cause damage to the True No Holy Pagoda. No matter how the internal void is destroyed, it will slowly recover. After fighting for a long time, Yi Tian began to get injured, but at this time, he used the eternal way of life. This eternal Tao was enlightened by him 860 from the eternal supreme treasure Jalan Leaf. Although he could not use the eternal Tao, there was no problem in using the eternal Tao. Under the influence of the eternal Tao of Wansheng, his injuries recovered very quickly, but the injuries of the 3 initial state legendary lords could not be recovered. After all, they were only legendary lords condensed from the Holy Tower. If they could recover their injuries, that would be so unfair. Just like that, Yi Tian won the battle abruptly. 21st floor. Yi Tian entered this layer, but found that he was not an opponent, so he immediately chose to withdraw from the True No Holy Pagoda, because if he couldn't beat it, and continuing to fight was just a waste of time. When Yi Tian walked out of the True No Holy Pagoda, he immediately met the eyes of many eternal realms. At this moment, all eternal realms looked at Yi Tian in disbelief. What is the origin of this guy? He actually broke through the 20th floor of the True No Holy Pagoda. The Silver Moon Lord was a little unbelievable. If someone told her before that someone could break through the 20th floor of the Junwu Holy Pagoda, he would never believe it, unless it was those legendary lords who could hope to do so, but the legendary lords would not come to Junwusheng. Tower Pass. The True No Holy Pagoda is just a building for entry screening, and the powerhouses of the True No Holy Land will not come here to test. Therefore, only those who want to join the eternal realm of the Holy Pagoda will be tested, so how many of these eternal realms who want to join the Holy Pagoda are terrifying? Not a single one. But now, a monster like Etn actually came to participate. Boom! A figure appeared above the Junwoo Holy Pagoda. This was a woman, her body was icy cold, and many eternal realms just glanced at it, as if her will was frozen. I have seen the Frostless Lord. Many eternal realms respectfully said. Lord Wushwang is one of the high-level leaders of the True Holy Land. He is a half-step legendary lord, and even among the half-step legendary lords, he is extremely powerful. Under normal circumstances, such a half-step legendary realm lord would not come here, but now he is here, obviously for Etn. To have passed our entry exam, come with me. Frostless Lord waved his hand. Lord Yinyu and Etn were pulled to the front one after another, but Etn did not resist. After approaching Lord Wushwang took Etn and Lord Yinyu to the real Holy Land of True No Holy Land. In fact, this is only the territory of the True Holy Land, but it is not the power of the True Holy Land. The true location of the True No Holy Land is on the True No Island, which is also the largest eternal and infinite island in the True No archipelago. In the blink of an eye, they passed through a barrier and entered the Holy Land. Soon, Etn followed Lord Wushwang to an ancient temple in the True Holy Land. Here, Etn met several legendary lords of transcendence and several half-step legendary lords. As for the legendary realm lord, Etn has not seen a single one. This kind of existence is too mysterious and cannot be seen just by meeting. At this time, Lord Wushwang opened his mouth and said, Lord Silvermoon, you have passed through the 9th floor of the True No Holy Pagoda, and we have verified your origins, and from today onwards, you are the True Holy Land. As a human-level Holy Child member, you can choose any position that a human-level Holy Child member can choose. 1. Yes, Lord Silvermoon replied. According to her own understanding, with her own strength and potential, she can only get one member of the human-level Saint Child. Of course, she can continue to improve in the future, but she needs a certain opportunity. At present, she has just joined the Holy Land, so there is definitely no way. Quick upgrade. What level of member treatment will the Endless Lord get? The Silver Moon Lord was curious. However, Lord Wushwang did not immediately announce the treatment of Etn's members, but instead asked, Lord Endless, we really only know that you are from outside the boundless sea, but there is no way to find out if there is really no Holy Land. If there is an external situation, you need to indicate the situation, and then the time-space ladder will be built by the real holy place to investigate the situation, and then you can be announced to join the real holy place. If you feel that your privacy is offended, you can refuse, but you can only become real ordinary disciples without Holy Land, or choose to leave the Holy Land. Etn said without hesitation, I come from the Yuanai, an eternal sea that has not been detected by the infinite sea, and it is not too far away from the infinite sea. I can tell the space-time coordinates of the Holy Land, and the space-time ladder is built by the Holy Land. Go to the source sea to find out the situation. 1. New Eternal Sea. Lord Wushwang and other high-level officials of the Holy Land were all surprised. Such an eternal sea is of great value. If it spreads out, I am afraid that there are many top forces who want to occupy it and develop it into their own back garden. Of course, the Holy Land doesn't care about an eternal sea, because it doesn't help the Holy Land very much. Okay, let's build the space-time ladder. Lord Frostless agreed. Then, after Tien reported the coordinates, the Lord could build the space-time ladder. Soon, the construction of the space-time ladder was completed and connected to the Source Sea. Source Sea, somewhere, Lord Wufrost walked out of the time and space ladder and sensed the Source Sea. It really is an unknown eternal sea, and it is still relatively young. Lord Frostless muttered, wow. In the distance, a copy of Yi Tian's body came over, saw Lord Wushwang, and respectfully said, I have seen Lord Wushwang. 1. Lord Wushwang saw this copy of Yi Tian's body and knew that this was Yi Tian's clone or body, so he knew something about it. However, Lord Wushwang still spent a little time exploring the Source Sea, as well as spy on the memories of some creatures in the Source Sea, and knew the situation here. As long as it is proved that Yi Tian does not belong to a certain legendary force, then there is no problem. And Yuanai has only a few legendary realm lords, so naturally there is no legendary power. Then, Endless Lord, after certification, you are fully qualified to join the true Holy Land and receive the treatment of a member of the heavenly rank Holy Child. The Frostless Lord announced. What? heavenly rank saint child. When Lord Silvermoon heard such treatment, he was immediately shocked. As soon as he joined the Holy Land, he became the highest-ranking Holy Son, which was a great treatment. But when she thought of Yi Tian's strength, she felt normal again. Chapter 1708 Guarding the Legion. Heavenly Saint Child. Although Yi Tian didn't know the Holy Land very well, it could be seen from Lord Silvermoon's reaction that this must be a very high status. At this time, Lord Wushwang said again, Lord Endless, you can choose the positions that the members of the heavenly rank Saint Child can choose. Don't rush to choose first, and then choose slowly when you understand the true situation of the Holy Land. You choose a residence with the Silvermoon Lord first. Yes, Yi Tian answered with Lord Silvermoon. Afterwards, Yi Tian found a mountain somewhere on Junwu Island, and built his residence, where he will retreat and practice from now on. There are many treasures on the Holy Land. For example, there are many treasures to improve the will. You only need to pay a very low price to cultivate there, and Yi Tian, as a member of the heavenly rank Saint Child, can use it for free, those treasures. In the next period of time, Yi Tian focused on understanding the position of the true unsacred land and the true unsacred land. The real no holy land is almost all practitioners above the eternal realm. At this stage, almost the path has been finalized, so it is impossible to go to apprenticeship or something, so the real no holy land is not dominated by disciples but divided into positions. For example, the eternal realm guarding the Junwu archipelago is called the Island Patrol, and the Island Patrol has a very low status, but the Island Patrol commander in charge of the Island Patrol is not low. Yi Tian, as the focus of cultivating geniuses at the heavenly rank, has a lot of positions to choose from. Of course, he can't choose a lower position, so he wants to choose the highest positions that he can choose. Currently, there are 3 top positions Yi Tian can choose. The Penalty Commander, the Guardian Commander, and the True Island Master. The Commander of Penalty punishes and hunts down the members of the Holy Land who have committed crimes. It is a very dangerous position, and it is easy to offend others. After all, some disciples of the Holy Land have committed crimes. If you arrest them, you will offend the high-level leaders of the true Holy Land behind them, and maybe one day you will offend a legendary lord. Therefore, the position of Commander of Punishment seems to be very high, but in fact it is a big pit. Really no island owner belongs to the idle position, that is, there are many infinite islands in the Junwu archipelago. If you choose an island to be the island owner, and take charge of an island, you can also get a certain income commission, and there is no danger. However, the position of the island owner of the ordinary infinite islands is also of little value and cannot obtain too many benefits. As for the guarding commander, you need to guard one side. In the guarding place, it is the supreme commander, and he has the face that represents the real Holy Land. The general forces dare not offend the guarding commander, but once in the war, the guarding commander is almost the most unlucky, a position. Yi Tian thought about it for a while and decided to choose the position of guard commander. After all, the commander of punishment is a big pit, and the real island owner is too idle, and it is not helpful to him at present, and if he chooses the commander of the guard, he can apply for guarding in the Source Sea, and the real no holy land is absolutely happy to use the Source Sea as the A development place for development and development. Once the application is approved, Yi Tian can not only become the guardian commander, but also completely control the Yuanai. Any good things in the Yuanai also belong to him. It's up to the Holy Land to agree or not. Yi Tian muttered. Immediately, he submitted the application, waiting for the reply from the Holy Land. Time passed slowly, and this day, the Holy Land replied to Yi Tian. Passed. Yi Tian was very happy when he saw this message. Afterwards, Yi Tian went to receive the seal of the Guardian Commander. This seal is not an ordinary seal. Although it is not the eternal treasure, it is the eternal treasure second only to the eternal treasure, and even blessed with legendary power, to a certain extent. Comparable to the eternal treasure. In addition to this Guardian seal, Yi Tian also obtained some resources and equipment. Moreover, he also has the right to recruit the legion under his command. After all, as a guard commander, if there is only one person, it would be too embarrassing. Therefore, he can recruit some eternal realm as his army to guard the Source Sea. Of course, he can also recruit a small amount. There are only a few legendary lords in Yuanai, and there are also a lot of eternal realms, so I can only recruit some eternal realms in Immeasurable Sea, at least Immortal Realm legendary lords, and at least 9-step Immortal Realm legendary lords, and then recruit another batch legendary lord, and then return to the Source Sea through the time and space ladder. Yi Tian planned. Then, he released a solicitation message to Junwu Archipelago as the guarding commander of Junwu Holy Land. Although the Eternal Realm who joined the Guarding and Commanding Legion is not a direct member of Junwu Holy Land, it is also a peripheral member. In the case of being unable to join the Holy Land, it is also a good choice to choose to join the Guarding Army. Ask for flowers. Therefore, at the first time, many Eternal Realms came to sign up, but Yitian did not want them if their cultivation base did not reach the Eternal Realm of the 9-step Immortal Realm Lord. In a short period of time, Yitian has recruited a lot of powerhouses above the 9-step Immortal Lords, and there are even hundreds of legendary lords who are willing to join Yitian's guarding army, and there are also 9 initial lords who have joined Yitian. Yitian has been selected and finally confirmed the place. He has recruited a total of 3,000 Eternal Realms, and appointed the 9 initial realm lords as 9 guardians. This is his personal certification, but even so, such a position is a very high level for many Eternal Realms outside. The position of, to some extent, can also represent the Holy Land. Point 0. The Guarding Legion was not allowed to enter Junwu Holy Land, so these 3,000 Eternal Realm gathered on a certain island in Junwu Archipelago, waiting for Yitian to come. When Yitian appeared, the 3,000 Eternal Realms respectfully said, "Meet the Lord Commander." Yitian nodded with satisfaction, and immediately said, "From today onwards, you are the Guarding Legion under my command. This time the place we are going to guard is not in the Boundless Sea, but in a new Eternal Sea. We will pass it later. Time and space ladder to the Eternal Sea. I need each of you to make an oath not to reveal the location of the Eternal Sea. After all, the location of the Eternal Sea has not been revealed yet, so try not to let the outside world know." 1. Yes. These Eternal Realms nodded one by one, and immediately began to make oaths. Although oaths are not very binding, and do not even need to pay too much price, they can have oaths, at least they can be restrained, and this oath is based on the source of will. Once the object of the oath is really violated, the source of will be severely damaged. Even with the protection of secret techniques, many Eternal Realms will not dare to violate it. After the 3,000 Eternal Realm made an oath, Yitian took them to the space-time step hall of the True No Holy Land in the True No Archipelago. Here, Yitian built a space-time ladder connecting the Source Sea, and this space-time ladder will be protected by the space-time ladder hall, but it needs to pay a certain fee, and the space-time ladder hall will not allow others to pass through this space-time ladder. Soon, the construction of the time-space ladder was completed, and Yitian stepped into the space-time ladder with 3,000 Eternal Realm. Chapter 1709A Breakthrough in Cultivation, the 9th step of the initial legendary lord. Source Sea, the end of the space-time ladder. Yitian walked out first, and then a Ming Eternal Realm stepped into the Source Sea. Boom! The breath of the Eternal Realm was superimposed together, causing the shock of the source of the Source Sea. Soon, 3,000 Eternals officially arrived at Yuanai. At this time, they looked around and realized that this is really another Eternal Sea, and the location here is something they have never heard of. Here is a new Eternal Sea. Immediately, these Eternal Realms are excited. If they keep stationed here, many rare resources may be born here in the future, and they also hope to obtain some. When Yuanai develops, it will be easier to obtain resources here than Infinite Sea. Space-time territory. Yitian came here with 3,000 Eternal Realms, and immediately caught the attention of the Lord Alliance. Especially Lord Binghan and others, 860, saw so many Eternal Realms at once, and the minimum cultivation base is the 9-step Immortal Realm Lord, and they were all dumbfounded. Not long after Yitian settled these guarding legions, Lord Binghan and other 5 legendary lords came to Yitian. Blood and Bone territory. Lord Binghan stood in front of Yitian and was asking about the guarding legion. Lord Endless, these Eternal Realms you brought are not the Eternal Realms of the Sea of Origin and the space-time territory? Asked Lord Binghan. It's not. Yitian didn't hide it, and said directly, they came from the Infinite Sea, and now they are my army. What? The army under your command? Lord Binghan and others couldn't believe it. So many legendary lords and 9-step immortal lords were many times larger than the power of Yuanai, and dispatching some legendary lords at will would be enough to sweep the Yuanai. Yuanai wants to give birth to so many legendary lords, but he still doesn't know how many years it will take. It is definitely an incomparably long time. But now, so many legendary lords and 9-step immortal lords turned out to be Yitian's army. How dare they imagine this? Lord Endless, how can you have so many legendary lords? The Lord of Holy Peak asked curiously. Yitian said with a smile. I joined the Junwu Holy Land of the Infinite Sea, that is, the mysterious force behind the Junwu Legend Pagoda, and after joining, I became the guarding commander of the Junwu Holy Land, with the qualification to recruit the Eternal Realm. These Eternal Realms are resources to join my guarding army. Moreover, Yuanai has become my guarding area, and the threat of the Qin family is nothing. Knowing that the threat from the Qin family was gone, Lord Binghan and others breathed a sigh of relief. After chatting for a while, Lord Bingxin asked, Lord Endless, I want to go to the Infinite Sea. The Endless Lord can go to the Infinite Sea so quickly, and bring these eternal realms here. There must be a shortcut, I want to use it. In this passage, I also hope that the Endless Lord will be fulfilled. Several other legendary lords also said that they also want to go to the Boundless Sea. Are you really going to the Boundless Sea? Yi Tian asked. Yes, Lord Binghan said with a smile. Lord Endless, we are just sending clones. Even if we really fall, it's no big deal. If we don't go to immeasurable sea, it will be very difficult for us to continue to improve our strength, and even enter the beginning lords are more difficult. Yi Tian nodded, agreed, and said, yes, I will let you pass the time and space ladder, and you will soon be able to reach the Infinite Sea, but after you enter the Infinite Sea, you must not reveal the time and space coordinates of the source sea and the situation, understand? Quote. Clear, Lord Binghan and other 5 legendary lords responded. Afterwards, Yi Tian informed the location of the space-time ladder, and the 5 legendary lords sent clones to walk up the space-time ladder, and soon disappeared on the space-time ladder, already entering the Boundless Sea. In the vast void area, the legendary lords of the Qin family are still on their way. They have passed the dark barrier and are rushing towards the Purple Aurora region. It takes a long time to cross the Purple Aurora region. Therefore, in a short period of time, these Qin family members are on their way. Can't reach the source sea at all. Yi Tian didn't worry about the threat of the Qin family anymore, and now he didn't have to worry about anything, so he started to practice hard. Not only that, he also dispatched a replica body to stay in the Holy Land for a long time. In the real No Holy Land, he can browse many precious inheritance classics. Although the cultivation paths of Boundless Sea and Yuanai are a little different, at the level of the legendary lord, they are basically the same. A lot of knowledge here is for him. It is the supreme treasure. Therefore, Yi Tian's continuous learning will be of great benefit to his future cultivation. In addition, Yi Tian can use the treasure land of the Holy Land to improve his will and enhance the fusion of will, body and innate eternal rules. With the help of primordial order, Yi Tian's cultivation speed at the initial level is many times faster than before. At this speed, Yi Tian would not take too long to step into the legendary lord of the perfection realm. Eternal years have passed. Before you know it, long years have passed. On this day, Yi Tian finally broke through. From the 7th step of the initial stage legendary lord to the 8th step, 80% of the eternal force was born in his body, and his strength was much stronger than before. Moreover, Yi Tian further perfected the legendary eternal skill. In the past, he had obtained too little inheritance, and his perception of legendary eternal skills was all based on his own understanding, and some aspects were not perfect, but now that he has obtained a large number of inheritances from the Holy Land, he naturally has a new understanding of legendary eternal skills, and thus perfect these legendary eternal skills step by step. Not only that, but he often wanders around the Infinite Sea in order to copy a lot of talent. In the Infinite Sea, there are still a lot of immortal ancestors, and if they are copied in large quantities, they can be merged into legendary ancestors. Therefore, with the passage of time, Yi Tian has gathered a lot of legendary ancestors, which is a huge opportunity for Yi Tian, and his own potential will be greatly improved. As for whether there will be legendary ancestors on top of the legendary ancestors, Yi Tian is not quite sure. Because he has never seen the legendary ancestors, even those legendary lords have no legendary ancestors. And what kind of talent the legendary realm lord has, he is not very clear. He has never seen a legendary realm lord. These legendary realm lords are very mysterious and will not show up easily. In the blink of an eye, a relatively long period of time has passed, Yi Tian's cultivation has been further improved, and the will, body and innate eternal rules have been integrated by 90%, which can almost be regarded as the peak of the initial realm lord. If it goes a step further, the body is fully integrated with the will and the innate eternal rules. However, there is a huge shackle between the initial realm and the perfection realm, and many legendary lords of the initial realm are difficult to overcome. However, as a holy child of the heavenly rank, Yi Tian was treated very well in the Holy Land. He was able to enter many treasures, and he could even ask some half-step legendary realm lords for advice. In addition, there is a special place to assist in breaking the shackles in the real Holy Land, but the price paid is very high, and he can use it. Therefore, for Yi Tian, breaking the shackles and being promoted to the legendary lord of the perfection realm is really not difficult at all. Of course, Yi Tian has not yet reached the level of impacting the legendary Lord of the Perfection Realm, so there is no need to worry now. This day, a large number of legendary realm lords appeared in the void area outside the Origin Sea Time and Space Territory. They are the legendary lords of the Qin family. Qin family, here we come. Chapter 17:10 Reveal your identity, the Qin family retreats. Finally reached. In the Qin family team, a rude big man said excitedly. He is one of the 3 legendary lords of the realm in the Qin family, Qin Kuangfang, known as the Mad Lord. His strength is terrifying, and he belongs to the top existence among the legendary lords of the realm. At this time, everyone in the Qin family had already seen the Yuanai space-time territory. This is a new space-time territory. If the Qin family can occupy this place, they will definitely rise in the future. After entering the Source Sea, immediately calculate the space-time coordinates, and then construct a space-time ladder to completely connect with our Qin family. Qin Kuangfang said. That's natural. Qin Ming, another legendary lord of the realm, nodded. Wow, the lords of the Qin family legend realm shuttled to the space-time territory and arrived at the space-time territory in an instant. They shuttled to the Source Sea, ready to enter the Source Sea. At this moment, the guarding legion stationed in the space-time territory discovered the movements of the Qin family. Yi Tian knew that the Qin family would definitely come here, so he let the guarding army keep guarding the space-time territory, constantly patrolling, and now he really found the legendary lords of the Qin family. Exclamation mark exclamation mark exclamation mark exclamation mark. A legendary lord guarding the legion appeared and stopped the legendary lords of the Qin family. So many legendary lords. Qin Kuangfang and other legendary lords of the Qin family showed doubts. Although these legendary lords are all weak, the most powerful are only the initial legendary lords. But the point is, according to Qin Yu's information, Yuanai doesn't have many legendary lords at all, just a few. In addition, Qin Kuangfang felt the breath and rules of the boundless sea from these legendary lords. Obviously, these legendary lords are not the legendary lords of Yuanai, but belong to the infinite sea. The power from the infinite sea. Qin Kuangfang said secretly. Which force do you come from? Qin Kuangfang exuded the aura of a legendary lord of his own top realm, covering the entire field, and the endless territory trembled under his pressure. The legendary lords in the guarding legion felt the breath of Qin Kuangfang's legendary lord of the realm, and they all shivered. This is a legendary lord of the realm, far beyond their existence. Even if they unite, they are far from being the opponent of a legendary lord of the realm. However, they were not panicked because they had a backer behind them. We belong to the Guard Legion under the command of the Endless Lord, the Guard Commander of the Holy Land. One of the guards revealed his origins. What a holy place! When many legendary lords of the Qin family heard this, their expressions suddenly changed drastically. Compared with the Holy Land, the Qin family is undoubtedly an ant-like existence. However, they did not withdraw immediately. After all, others said that they came from the Holy Land. Does that mean they belong to the Holy Land? What evidence? Qin Kuangfang said. Just then, a voice came. Are you from the Wuliang Hakan family? The void area was rippling, and a young man walked out from the void, and it was Yi Tian. It's you. The Qin family's legendary realm lord recognized Yi Tian. After all, the picture Qin Yu provided had Yi Tian. The legendary lord of the original Sea of Origin, the Endless Lord. Yi Tian opened his mouth and said, I am a member of the heavenly ranked saint child who is truly without a holy land, the guarding commander the Endless Lord. After speaking, a seal appeared behind Yi Tian. The radiance of this seal shone on billions of territories, and at the same time, there was a projection of no holy land on the seal. The seal of the guardian commander of the Holy Land. The Qin family recognized it, and this thing cannot be faked. Obviously, Yi Tian joined True No Holy Land and became the heavenly ranked saint child of True No Holy Land, and obtained the position of guard commander. Damn, this endless commander is so fast, he joined the Holy Land before we arrived. Qin Kuangfang cursed secretly. If Yi Tian did not join the Holy Land, he could kill Yi Tian at any time. But now, Yi Tian is the guarding commander of the Holy Land, and he is one of the top leaders. They can't kill Yi Tian silently. Maybe Yi Tian's clone is still in the Holy Land. Once the Qin family dared to take action against the guards and commanders of the Holy Land, it would be tantamount to declaring war on the Holy Land. Facing the Holy Land, the Qin family was like an ant, unable to shake it at all. If war is really declared, the Qin family will perish. Congratulations to the Endless Lord for becoming the guarding commander of the Holy Land. We are here this time just to retrieve our Qin family's eternal treasure, the Fire Territory Sword. Qin Kuangfeng held back his anger and said lightly. Fire domain sword, what is that? I don't have it here. Now this is the guarded area of the Holy Land, and it is also my territory. Please leave. Yi Tian rushed out. Qin Kuangfeng was furious and could not wait to immediately take action to suppress Yi Tian, but the other two legendary lords of the realm stopped him. Let's go first, Qin Ming said. The Qin family did not conflict with Yi Tian and turned around and left. At the same time, the Qin family also knew the situation of Yuanai, and there was no solution. When the ancestor Qin Wuyuan of the Qin family learned of the situation, he immediately issued an order, that is, to reveal the location of Yuanai. Although he could not occupy an eternal sea like Yuanai, he would not allow the true Holy Land to secretly develop Yuanai. It is also good to find some trouble for Junwu Holy Land and Yi Tian. Soon, a large number of forces in the Infinite Sea know that the Holy Land has found a new eternal sea, and it is a very young eternal sea. For a time, many 860 legendary lords wanted to enter the Source Sea to see. No holy place. Lord No Frost came to Yi Tian. I have seen the Frostless Lord. Yi Tian said respectfully. Wushwang nodded, and immediately said, the Endless Lord, the location of the Source Sea is exposed. I am afraid that many legendary lords will go to the space-time territory. Even if we really have no Holy Land to declare that the Source Sea is a territory we occupy, it cannot be completely let people not enter. Therefore, I suggest that you do not prevent other eternal realms from entering the Source Sea. There are more eternal realms and legendary lords in the Source Sea, which is also conducive to the development and growth of the Source Sea. But if there is an eternal realm that provokes the guarding legion, you no need to be polite, just suppress it directly. Clear, Yi Tian nodded. Taking advantage of this opportunity, Yi Tian asked Lord Wushwang about the experience of hitting the legendary Lord of Perfection realm. Lord Wushwang suggested, Lord Endless, when you reach the peak of the legendary Lord of the initial realm, if you want to attack the legendary Lord of the Perfection realm, you can go to the return to the ruins of the real Holy Land, which is suitable for impacting the legendary Lord of the Perfection realm. In addition, there is also a secret technique that needs to be cultivated, the Heart of Eternity. This is one of the top secret techniques of the Holy Land. It is beneficial to the legendary lords of the Perfection realm and higher realms. It is difficult for the outside world to obtain such top secret techniques. The current authority is sufficient to exchange. Thank you Lord Frostless for your guidance. Yi Tian thanked. Chapter 17:11 Return to the Ruins Treasure Land. After Lord Wushwang left, Yi Tian went to the Inheritance Treasury of True No Holy Land to apply for the secret technique of exchanging the Eternal Heart. As a member of the heavenly rank Saint Child, Yi Tian is naturally qualified to exchange for the Eternal Heart secret technique, and only needs to pay a small amount of resources. Later, Yi Tian inherited this secret technique in the Inheritance Treasure House, but it could not be passed on to others, which was a limitation of inheritance. Before the inheritance, Yi Tian didn't know what the so-called Eternal Heart was, but after the inheritance, he knew. The Eternal Heart is a special crystal that is condensed and compressed by the Eternal Force. It is similar to a heart and can increase its own strength. More importantly, the Eternal Heart can increase the Eternal Force. After the body, the will, and the innate eternal rules are fused to 100%, they can reach the perfect state, and at this time, the body also has 10% of the Eternal Force. At this stage, it is almost difficult to increase the Eternal Force, because the whole body is full of Eternal Force. How can it be increased? The Eternal Heart can compress and condense the excess Eternal Force into a heart, which ensures that the Eternal Force inside the body becomes more. In addition, the legendary Lord of the initial realm can also cultivate the Eternal Heart, although it is difficult to practice, but once practiced, you can use the eternal power contained in the Eternal Heart to temper the whole body, and hit the last shackles, you can reach to the legendary Lord of Perfection. This is also the reason why Lord Wushwang suggested Yi Tian to practice the secret technique of the Eternal Heart. The Eternal Heart is a secret technique created by the legendary lords over a long period of time. It is very important to the True Holy Land, and has cultivated a large number of perfection legendary lords for the True Holy Land. After Yi Tian obtained the Eternal Heart, he tried to cultivate. Hey, it doesn't seem so difficult. Yi Tian muttered. He guessed that his talent was too powerful, so it was easier to cultivate the Eternal Heart, because the Eternal Heart focused on his own understanding of the body, will, and innate eternal rules, and these three aspects were also related to talent. His talent is far beyond any legendary lord, and even the talent of the legendary lord is not as good as him. With such a talent, he naturally has a huge advantage in cultivating the Eternal Heart. In this way, the years passed, and 10 eternal years passed without knowing it. This day, Yi Tian's eternal heart is about to be completed. In vivo, boom, countless eternal forces condensed in the source of will, and gradually formed the appearance of a heart. For a long time, this heart was completely condensed and exuded a powerful breath. Practice. Yi Tian can sense the tempering of his body and the increase in strength by the eternal heart at this moment. He can use the eternal heart to extract the eternal force in the body, and then continue to integrate the body, the will and the innate eternal rules to form a new eternal force again. In this way, there will be more and more eternal force in him, and it will even help the fusion of body, will and innate eternal rules to speed up his cultivation. With the cooperation of the eternal heart, he can reach the peak realm of the legendary lord of the initial realm faster. In the following years, Yi Tian worked hard to reach the pinnacle of the legendary lord of the initial realm. After a long time, some new faces have appeared in the Source Sea, all of them are lords above the immortal realm, and there are even some legendary lords. Yi Tian didn't stop them and let them come and go in the Source Sea. At this time, there were not many resources in the Source Sea, and these powerhouses would not be greedy, so gradually, there were not many powerhouses in the Source Sea, but there were still some eternal lords who stayed in the Source Sea and the space-time territory. At the very least, there will be less disputes here, and there is hope to obtain more resources in the future. Maybe if you are lucky, you will get an eternal treasure, then you will make a lot of money. For these eternal realm lords who come from the infinite sea or other eternal seas, as long as they do not endanger the sovereignty of the human race, the guarding legion or the Source Sea, he almost doesn't care. In the blink of an eye, tens of thousands of eternal years have passed. This day, Yi Tian's cultivation has risen to the pinnacle of the initial realm legendary lord. At this time, he was only a little short of being able to perfectly integrate 10% of his body with his will and innate eternal rules, and enter the realm of the legendary lord of the perfection realm. But this point is difficult to overcome. Many legendary lords of the initial realm have never broken this shackle in their lives. Yi Tian tried to break this shackle with the help of the eternal heart, but found that it was still a little worse. It seems that we must go to the treasure land of returning to the ruins, which is really no holy land. Returning to the ruins treasure land is a very important treasure land without the holy land, and not all members of the holy land can enter, but Yi Tian can enter the returning ruins treasure land for free. Strictly speaking, the treasure land of returning ruins is not within the real holy land, but there is a time-space passage leading to the treasure land of return to the ruins. There is really no holy place, return to the market gate. Yi Tian came here and immediately entered the Guishu gate. The space-time passage behind the return gate is somewhat similar to the space-time ladder, but it is somewhat different from the space-time ladder. This is a flat space-time passage, and it does not lead to other eternal seas. But such a time-space passage is very secretive, and even the legendary realm lord can hardly spy on this time-space passage from the outside world. Soon, Yi Tian passed the space-time passage behind the returning ruins gate and arrived at the real returning ruins treasure land. The entire Guishu is not very big, the center is a spring, surrounded by energy channels, and hundreds of millions of roads connect the spring. If you look down from a high place and look down, you will find that hundreds of millions of roads converged from nothingness and poured into this spring. After the spring, all turned into the same source energy. This source energy gathers the power of hundreds of millions of roads, but does not contain the power of any one road, as if it is nothingness, and it seems to be the source of all power. It turns out that Guishu is like this. Yi Tian muttered. He saw the legendary lords King Qian's sitting on the roads, and even saw a familiar figure, the Silver Moon Lord. She also came here, and it seemed that she was also hitting the Perfection Realm legendary lord realm. Each of these billions of paths is unique, and the legendary eternal realm can find a path that suits him, where he can comprehend the mystery of the unity of energy. The body is energy, the will is energy, and the innate eternal rules can also be regarded as a kind of energy. The energy is 10,000, and here is one. If I have a little mystery, it will help to break through. This is also the reason why many legendary lords at the peak of the initial realm come here to learn and practice. Yi Tian found a path of primordial that fit him slightly, sat on it, and began to comprehend the mystery of the unity of energy. Break through all at once, it is unlikely. Therefore, Yi Tian intends to comprehend a lot of years here, and strive to break through to the legendary lord realm of the perfection realm as soon as possible. Chapter 17:12 The Secret of the Source Sea, the Grey Fog Statue. Years go by. Yi Tian gradually realized some mysteries from the return to the ruins, gained more insight into the fusion of body, will and innate eternal rules, and also had more insight into the eternal force. In fact, the power in the return to the ruins is the more thorough eternal force. Yi Tian reckoned that he would spend a few more years here, and he would have full confidence in hitting the legendary Lord of Perfection realm. In this way, Yi Tian has cultivated for 30,000 eternal years in the returning ruins. This day, Yi Tian felt that it was almost the same, and began to attack the legendary Lord of the Perfection realm. I saw that he mobilized the power of the eternal heart, and a large amount of eternal origin force filled the whole body. Boom! The endless innate and eternal rules are shaking, and with the almost endless will, the body is constantly shaking, and finally the place that has not been integrated is presented. Fusion. Yi Tian forcibly merged the last trace of body, will, and innate eternal rules. Finally, the last shackles were forcibly broken. Immediately, Yi Tian's body began to transform, and his breath became complete. In the return to the ruins, many legendary lords looked at Yi 860 Tian. The Endless Lord has broken through. It's not long before the Endless Lord joined us in the real No Holy Land, and it was only tens of thousands of eternity years after entering the ruins, and I broke the shackles and was promoted to the legendary Lord of the Perfection realm. I have stayed in the ruins for 300,000 eternal years. Still no breakthrough. The Endless Lord deserves to be a monster of the heavenly rank and the Son of Heaven as soon as he joins the true Holy Land. On a certain road, Lord Silver Moon also paused his comprehension and looked at Yi Tian, his eyes full of frustration. She touched the threshold of the Perfection realm earlier than Yi Tian, and she even stayed at the peak of the initial realm for a long time. The last time she saw Yi Tian was only in the 7th step of the initial realm legendary lord. But now, Yi Tian stepped into the legendary Lord of Perfection realm one step ahead of her. This kind of cultivation speed is beyond her reach. However, she quickly adjusted her mentality, continued to comprehend, and strived to break the shackles as soon as possible and be promoted to the legendary Lord of the Perfection realm. After another period of time passed, Yi Tian completely stabilized his realm and left the returning ruins. After breaking through to the legendary Lord of the Perfection realm, Yi Tian's real combat power is comparable to that of ordinary domain-level legendary lords. If he encounters those domain-level legendary lords who do not have the eternal treasure, he can even suppress the opponent. The cultivation after the complete legend leader (CJFI) is to continuously fuse the will with the innate eternal rules. When the fusion reaches a certain level, the field of will rules can be formed, and then you can become the legendary lord of the domain realm. Yi Tian muttered. The fusion of will and innate eternal rules seems to be very simple, but if you want to condense to the level of will rules, it is not simple. According to Yi Tian's understanding, the 4th order eternal will is not enough to condense the field of will rules, and it must reach the 5th order will. The innate eternal rules also have relative requirements, and a person's mastery of the innate eternal rules lies in the eternal way. One eternal way is complete, or 3 eternal ways are completed, so that the innate eternal rules can be guaranteed to reach the standard. However, it is very difficult to complete an eternal way, and it is also difficult to achieve the 5th order eternal will. Yi Tian's current eternal will is still a long way from the 5th order eternal will, so he can't be promoted to the legendary lord of the realm in a short time. In the infinite sea, any legendary lord of the domain realm has cultivated for infinite eternity years, and the years of cultivation are even longer than the time when you and I was born. Therefore, it is still very difficult to become a legendary lord of the realm. Source C. Yi Tian was practicing, and one day, Lord Binghan and Lord Shengfeng came to visit. Yi Tian entertained the two and began to chat. At this time, Yi Tian clearly felt that the expressions of Lord Binghan and Lord Shengfeng were a little dignified, as if something major had happened. Lord Binghan, Lord of Holy Peak, what's the matter with you? Yi Tian asked casually. At this time, Lord Binghan said, Lord Endless, we have a great opportunity to tell you. Great opportunity? Yi Tian was quite puzzled, not knowing what great chance there was between Lord Binghan and Lord Shengfeng, and would there really be a great chance to tell him? Lord Binghan continued. In the Source C, Lord Shengfeng was the first legendary lord to break through, and I was the second, and Lord Taihuang was the third. But in fact, after I broke through, I was very for a long time, no legendary lord was born, so some things that happened before that, the legendary lords and other eternal realms did not know at all. The Lord of the Holy Peak continued. The Endless Lord should know the structure of the immeasurable sea. The resources of the immeasurable sea are concentrated in the immeasurable sea, while the resources of the Yuan-I are concentrated in the space-time territory. Maybe some eternal seas will have such a situation, but in fact a long time ago, the Source Sea did not have a space-time territory but the same situation as the Infinite Sea. At that time, the eternal realms were all staying in the Source Sea, and Lord Binghan and I actually achieved within the Source Sea. Legendary Lord. What, you are the legendary lords who made achievements in Yuan? Yi Tian was shocked. This secret, he really does not know. He had always thought that the several legendary lords of Yuan were all living beings in the space-time territory, but now that he heard the words of Lord Binghan and Lord of Holy Peak, he realized that this was not the case. So why did Yuan become like this? The Lord of Shengfeng continued. A long time ago, Yuan was still normal, but one day, a stone statue appeared in Yuan, and this stone statue was incomplete, with a crack on the body. This stone statue is very big and very big. Larger than a space-time territory. The moment it appeared, all the creatures in the billions of territories were annihilated, and even the general lord of the eternal realm would be killed by a force when approaching it. Its appearance caused the origin of the sea. The shock of Yuan was the first time we saw the scene of Yuan fully suppressing an item. You can probably guess from the pictures after that, the rules of Yuan have changed, and some Yuan fragments have entered Yuan. The nothingness outside the area has turned into a space-time territory. After that, the origin of the source sea seems to be jealous of the stone statue, causing the power to continuously escape to the space-time territory, so that a large amount of resources are born in the space-time territory and the source sea inside the source sea. But very few resources were born. At that time, Lord Binghan and I were both in the realm of the 9-step immortal lord, and we were still attacking the lord of the legendary realm. We ventured close to the statue, and found that the practice became easier, and we also found a little bit. A good thing, thus breaking the shackles and being promoted to the lord of the legendary realm. Later, this stone statue was hidden, and we couldn't find it. For this matter, the latecomers were not clear, and we did not inform the subsequent legends. Lord, but not long ago, we went to explore the place in the source sea, and felt the fluctuation of the stone statue again, and now the fluctuation is getting stronger and stronger. Lord Bingxin said, in this period of time, we have been searching for news in the boundless sea to see if we can find any news about the stone statue, and we did find some news. If we didn't guess wrong, it should be called Wei. The foggy stone statue once appeared in an eternal sea, but it has disappeared. After listening to their words, Yi Tian roughly knew their thoughts. The gray fog statue is definitely going to be born, and the two of them can't hide it anymore. They are worried that the true holy place will directly occupy the gray fog statue, so it is the first to reveal that in this case, the true holy place or Yi Tian will not let them go in again. Don't worry, I will definitely let you in, take me to see now. Yi Tian said. With Yi Tian's assurance, Lord Binghan and Lord Shengfeng breathed a sigh of relief. Immediately, the two of them took Yi Tian to a place in Yuan. Chapter 1713 The Eternal Master of the Shuttle Timeline. Somewhere in the Source Sea. Yi Tian came here with Lord Binghan and Lord of Holy Peak, but other legendary realm lords and those who guarded the Legion did not know. At present, Yi Tian also doesn't want to reveal the news here. It turned out to be a barren area of Yuan. Yi Tian finally knows why no one has discovered the abnormality here. The barren areas of the Yuan refer to the fact that no world, eternal world or treasure land has ever been born, and there is not even a so-called forbidden land. The barren area is almost the same as the void area, there is nothing, even the source in the source sea is thinner than other areas. There used to be many people who thought that there must be treasures or worlds in barren areas. After countless years of verification, the barren area has no value, and no one has come. It is in the barren area, no one comes here, so there is a temporary phenomenon here, and it will not be discovered. Lord Ice Letter said. In fact, before the appearance of the gray fog statue, this was not a barren area, but after the gray fog area came, the barren area was born. Perhaps the source of the sea was afraid of rejecting the gray fog stone statue, so that no resources would be born here. Yi Tian nodded and agreed with this statement. It's here. Lord Ice Letter pointed to a barren area in front of him and said. In fact, there is no need for Lord Bingxin to remind him. Yi Tian also noticed the abnormality in this area at this moment, and a terrifying aura spread from this area, and this aura made even a legendary Lord of Perfection realm feel terrified. Moreover, he was unable to detect the source of this breath. Immediately, a punch slammed into the barren area in front of him. Boom, the void shattered, but nothing changed. He still did not find the gray fog stone statue. According to the abnormal changes here, it only takes about 100,000 eternal years, and this place is bound to be discovered, maybe even earlier. After all, there are a lot more eternal realms in the source sea, and maybe one day it will come to the barren area, found here. You can let Yi Tian continue to wait, he doesn't want to. He pondered for a while, then took out the eternal treasure cyan leaf, and activated the power of the cyan leaf, trying to use the cyan leaf to perceive the gray fog stone statue. The indigo leaf is the eternal treasure born in the source sea, and the source of the source sea repels the gray fog statue. Perhaps the indigo leaf can cause the gray fog statue to react, so that he can perceive the space-time position of the gray fog statue. The power of Jalan leaves is continuously released. At a certain moment, Jalan Yi was suppressed by a terrifying force and kept shaking. Found it. Yi Tian sensed the location of the gray fog statue, and seized the opportunity, instantly tore apart the time and space, and used the void step to enter an unknown space-time domain. Lord Binghan and Lord Holy Peak reacted a step slower. They did not enter, they could only look at each other on the outside. Although they know that they can use the eternal treasure to cause the repulsion with the gray fog stone statue, so as to enter the time and space where the gray fog stone statue is located, but they do not have the eternal treasure at all. Wow! The void rippling, Yi Tian appeared. This is obviously another copy of Yi Tian's body, and Lord Ice Letter and others are not surprised. At this time, the Lord of Holy Peak asked, Lord Endless, have you seen the gray fog statue? I see. Yi Tian nodded. The Lord of the Holy Peak added, Lord Endless, the interior of this gray fog statue is empty, and the only place to enter is the crack, but the crack in the gray fog statue is very dangerous. We were severely injured when we first entered, but Endless Lord, your strength is very strong, maybe you can really break into it. Don't worry, let me observe outside the gray fog stone statue. Yi Tian said, outside the gray fog statue. Yi Tian stood here and felt the terrifying power emanating from the gray fog statue. The general eternal realm was indeed difficult to approach here. Once he got close to the gray fog statue, he would be easily wiped out by this power. However, this foggy stone statue is indeed an unimaginable treasure. At this moment, Yi Tian practiced here and found that the fusion speed of will and innate eternal rules was several times faster. Of course, the gray fog statue is not only that, there are other opportunities as well. Yi Tian constantly shuttled around the gray fog stone statue, and found that the appearance of the gray fog stone statue was like the earth, and many things were born. Yi Tian found that these things were very precious to the eternal realm, and some treasures were even useful to the legendary lords. So, he collected all these resources. This should be the treasure that has been nurtured here by the power of the gray fog stone statue for a long time. Just the treasure here is piled up, and it is not a waste. After a long time, Yi Tian collected almost all the resources on the appearance of the gray fog statue. At this time, he came to the crack in the chest of the gray fog stone statue. He did not go in immediately, but silently comprehends the crack not far from the crack. In his perception, this crack was obviously attacked. It is difficult for him to imagine the strength of the person who shot it, to be able to make such a terrifying attack. He is far inferior, and even the general legendary realm lord is far inferior. In this attack, I can't feel the will and the innate eternal rules. Yi Tian frowned, very puzzled by this attack. Even if it is the eternal force, the shadow of the will and the innate eternal rules can be seen in its power, but this attack does not seem to contain it. No holy place. A copy of Yi Tian's body came to ask the Frostless Lord, the half-step legendary lord. Ask for flowers. Master Wushwang, I left a trace in a place. This trace was caused by an attack, but I have never seen the breath of will and innate eternal rules on it, but it must be an attack from a very powerful existence. There is no aura of the eternal force. What kind of attacking power is this? Yi Tian asked. Oh, an attack that does not contain any rules and will, and there is no breath of eternal force. Frostless Lord was a little surprised, and immediately pondered. After a while, Lord Wushwang asked again, does that trace really exist in the current time and space? If you are at the position of the trace, it is a pity to continue to comprehend it, and to comprehend it from the perspective of time and space, don't go to it. Realize its power. From a space-time perspective, Yi Tian immediately comprehended this crack according to the way of the Frostless Lord, and he was surprised to find that this crack did not exist, and he could not understand this crack from the perspective of time and space. Point 0. So, he said truthfully, Lord Wufrost, I can't understand that crack. It seems that the crack doesn't exist anymore. Even if the eternal treasure cannot be touched, it won't exist, but the crack seems to be real. It's as if the cracks I saw were false, but I clearly realized a lot before. 1. At this time, Lord Wushwang smiled and said, I'm pretty sure that the trace you saw should be an attack from the Eternal Master. Eternal Master, what is that? Yi Tian asked. Lord Wushwang said, the Eternal Master is the end of everything, the ultimate culmination of practice, and the end of all legends. The ultimate goal of the legendary lords is also the Eternal Master. They are the existences in charge of all time and space. It can be said that they jumping out of the timeline, they can even travel through the past and the future. Because their attacks do not exist in any time and space in the past and future, just like themselves, they have this characteristic. For them, any will, rules, physical strength, etc. meaningless. Walking through the past and the future. Yi Tian was surprised. Lord Frostfree nodded and said, however, although they can travel to the past, they can't change the past, otherwise it will cause the collapse of time and space, and even they themselves can't bear it, and the entire void area will suppress them. But they can come in one step. In the future, there are no restrictions. For example, if they see a treasure produced somewhere in the future, they can step into the future and snatch the treasure. Therefore, if there is any amazing treasure born in the void area, it is very likely that several Eternal Masters will travel through the timeline to snatch and fight, thus leaving traces. In today's void area, there are still many such traces, and you may see one of them. Thank you, Lord Wushwang, for clarifying your doubts. Yi Tian completely understood it at this moment. Chapter 1714 A Grey Fog Bridge. Yuan, at the Grey Fog statue. Yi Tian looked at the foggy stone statue in front of him and became even more curious about it. According to Lord Frostfree, the traces on the Grey Fog statue are the traces left by the Eternal Master, and the Eternal Master can cross the timeline and even attack the future through time and space. It can even be said that the Eternal Master can appear here at any time. At the beginning, the Eternal Master must have had a brief fight for this Grey Fog stone statue, and even entered the Grey Fog stone statue. In the end, he may get what he wants or not find what he needs, and then give up this Grey Fog statue. Fog stone statue, Yi Tian guessed. But in any case, since this Grey Fog stone statue can attract the attention of the Eternal Master, it is enough to prove that it is very extraordinary. In addition, even the traces of the 860 Eternal Master are enough to make the legendary lord understand for a long time. First, copy one body here to comprehend the attack traces of the Eternal Master, and another copy body to enter the inside of the Grey Fog statue. Yi Tian decided. Wow, a duplicate body was quickly copied, and immediately this duplicate body began to comprehend here, while the other duplicate body was ready to enter the Grey Fog stone statue. In this way, even if a duplicate body dies, at least it can continue to duplicate. A new replica body is created, and it is constantly exploring and moving forward. Otherwise, if there is only one copy body, Yi Tian needs to re-enter the time and space where the Grey Fog statue is located once it falls. Boom! Yi Tian used a defensive method, and then rushed into the crack of the Grey Fog statue and entered the interior of the Grey Fog statue. A wave of violent power turned into rays of light and blasted towards Yi Tian. These powers are enough to inflict heavy damage on ordinary legendary lords, and if they go deeper, even ordinary legendary lords will fall. However, the attacks of these powers landed on Yi Tian's body, only setting off a ripple, unable to cause any damage to Yi Tian at all. Yi Tian stepped into the Grey Fog stone statue step by step, and went deeper and deeper. Soon, Yi Tian saw a bridge, which seemed to be completely composed of a special energy, spanning into the depths of the endless void. Yi Tian felt that the bridge was a little weird, so he was going to go around from other directions. However, something strange happened. No matter which direction he shuttles from, he will be moved to the entrance of the bridge by an inexplicable energy. That is to say, he must pass this bridge before he can move forward, otherwise he will not be able to move forward at all. This bridge is a must. Looks like this bridge has to be crossed. Yi Tian muttered. He walked onto the bridge, and in an instant, the bridge became gray and foggy, and it was impossible to see any direction. So, he continued to move forward, and he didn't know how long he had walked, but he actually returned to the entrance of the bridge. Strange, I was walking forward, but I walked back to the entrance. Yi Tian was extremely puzzled. Next, he walked many times, still as before, reaching the entrance of the bridge. Use countless avatars to look in all directions. Immediately, Yi Tian's body differentiated into countless incarnations, and these incarnations poured into the bridge, but soon disappeared one by one. The way the avatar finds the direction is not good at all, and the mysterious power contained in this bridge directly annihilates his avatar. If the incarnation can't be done, then let the replica body probe again and again, and I don't believe that it can't get through. Yi Tian thought to himself. But then, whether he is shuttle or flying at an extremely fast speed, or other means, he can't cross the bridge, and he will return to the entrance of the bridge. Moreover, once he enters the bridge, his perception cannot go beyond the scope of the bridge, and the copy talent can only sense the talent of life, but it has no effect on this bridge. After trying many times, Yi Tian stopped this unplanned behavior, but calmed down happily. This bridge must be built here, and there must be a special way to pass this bridge, and I haven't mastered this way yet, so I can't cross this bridge anyway. Thinking like this, Yi Tian roughly understood and began to look for this method. Afterwards, he walked into the bridge and was immediately in a gray fog again. This time, he did not continue to move forward, but comprehended in the gray fog. Time passed slowly. At the beginning, Yi Tian was very confused, but gradually, he became somewhat enlightened. I understand, this area of gray fog has the effect of interfering with the rules. Every particle of fog contains various innate eternal rules. Countless gray fogs are great formations created by countless innate eternal rules. Being in this great formation is disturbed all the time. If you want to pass this bridge, you must reach a certain level in the innate eternal rules, and you can understand the rules here so that you can reach the bridge without being disturbed by the gray fog area, the other end of the. Yi Tian was enlightened. In other words, his understanding of the innate eternal rules is not deep, and it is difficult to cross this bridge. Immediately, Yi Tian was overjoyed again. The fog in this gray fog area is constantly surging, and it also represents the constant changes of various innate eternal rules. Comprehension of the changes in the innate eternal rules here will help Yi Tian to understand those eternal ways. In fact, there is also a very powerful eternal Tao here, the gray fog eternal Tao. The eternal way of gray fog involves the innate eternal rules of space, the innate eternal rules of time, the innate eternal rules of darkness, and the innate eternal rules of water. It is undoubtedly an extremely powerful eternal way. 5.8 Of course, it is extremely difficult to realize the eternal way of gray fog. For Yi Tian, it is undoubtedly the best way to use this place to comprehend other eternal ways. You can use this bridge to verify at all times, and you can elevate your eternal way to a higher level. And once you cross this bridge, I am afraid that you will encounter a real opportunity. Next, let's comprehend here. Yi Tian decided. The eternal Tao that he mainly comprehends is the eternal Tao of Wansheng and the eternal Tao of Hunyuan. He wants to cultivate one of the eternal Taos to the realm of Dacheng and even the realm of perfection as soon as possible. But now, Hunyuan eternal Tao has reached the realm of small achievement, and it is still very far away from the realm of Dacheng. In the blink of an eye, tens of thousands of eternal years have passed. Chapter 17:15 Legendary Lord, Lord Longu. After tens of thousands of eternal years of ascetic cultivation, and with the assistance of the eternal treasure and the Grey Fog Bridge, Yi Tian has made great progress. This day, Yi Tian's eternal way of life has made a substantial breakthrough. This eternal way has directly entered the realm of Dacheng, and even the eternal Tao of Hunyuan has cultivated and comprehended to the peak of Shaocheng. Not only that, Yi Tian also has a harvest, that is, he has a little understanding of the eternal way of Grey Fog, but there is still a distance to fully comprehend the eternal way of Grey Fog, because the eternal way of Grey Fog is really too powerful, so he wants to the difficulty of getting started in the cultivation of the eternal Tao of the Grey Fog is also enormous. Source C, Barren Area. The fluctuations caused by the Grey Fog statues are getting bigger and bigger, spreading to a large area. At this time, any eternal realm who comes to the barren area will perceive the situation here. Therefore, it didn't take long for the vision of the barren area to be discovered. So at this time, Yi Tian reported the situation of the Grey Fog statue to the Holy Land of True Wu. Otherwise, once Yuanai attracted the attention of other forces, Yi Tian could not do anything to stop those powerful forces, so he must the holy places pulled into the water. And the person Yi Tian reported to was the Frost-Free Lord. Lord Endless, are you saying that there is a Grey Fog stone statue in the Source Sea? The Frostless Lord was shocked. Yes, Yi Tian nodded. Lord Wushwang looked at Yi Tian deeply and said, "Before, when you asked me about the attack of the Eternal Master, was it because you asked about the trace on the Grey Fog statue?" It is indeed the trace. Yi Tian admitted it. Lord Wushwang didn't blame Yi Tian. After all, it was normal to hide the news. Now that he couldn't hide it, he would naturally choose to report it to the true Holy Land. At this time, Lord Wushwang said, "I have heard of the Grey Fog stone statue, but I have never seen it. The Grey Fog stone statue is indeed an amazing opportunity, and it is also very strange. It has many levels, and each time you pass a level, you can get some benefits, but no one knows what the final level is. Those legendary lords have also entered the Grey Fog statue, and perhaps the legendary lords know more secrets. In addition, the Grey Fog statue only allows 100 lives to enter it at a time. Once there are more than 100 lives, other beings can no longer enter the Grey Fog statue. When 100 lives come out of the Grey Fog statue, the Grey Fog statue will leave that area and go to other areas. It is so. Yi Tian understood. No wonder, the Grey Fog statue will go to the Source Sea. Lord Wushwang, I need 2 places, and the other places are for the Holy Land. Yi Tian said. No problem. Lord Wushwang nodded. I will report it to the legendary Lord of the True Holy Land, and then the True Holy Land will block the area of the Grey Fog stone statue. When other forces know about it, there is no way to go in again. Soon, the Frost-Free Lord told the situation of the Grey Fog stone statue. Afterwards, Yi Tian met a legendary realm lord of the Holy Land. Boom! The legendary realm lord directly smashed the time and space without the aid of the time-space ladder, crossed the endless void area, and descended to the Source Sea. He is the lord of the legendary realm of No Holy Land, the Lord of Longu. Lord Longu is the first ancestor of the original ancestor dragon clan of Boundless Sea, but there are not many original ancestor dragons of Boundless Sea. Zulong was born, and now there are only less than 20 primitive ancestors, but they have all reached the level of legendary lords, and now there are a few who have reached the realm of transcendental legendary lords. Yi Tian had heard of Lord Longu, but this was the first time he had seen it. I have seen Lord Longu, Yi Tian said respectfully. Well, you are very nice. Lord Longu looked at Yi Tian, nodded slightly, and then looked at the Grey Fog stone statue. He saw the Grey Fog stone statue at a glance, and immediately took out a scale. This scale contains his power. The next moment, this piece of scale was sacrificed and flew to the area where the Grey Fog statue was located. Endless time and space have been suppressed and banned, and no one can forcibly tear the time and space to the place where the Grey Fog statue is located. Seeing this scene, Yi Tian really realized the strength of the legendary lord of the legendary realm, and just a piece of scales can easily suppress him. Wow! A portal was born, leading to the Grey Fog statue. Soon, a legendary lord appeared, a half-step legendary lord, a transcendental legendary lord, and several legendary lords of the realm from the real Holy Land came, and they all entered the Grey Fog statue. At this time, Yi Tian said, Lord Longu, these 2 legendary lords of our Yuanai will also enter the Grey Fog statue. They are the legendary lords who discovered the Grey Fog statue, so I promise to give them a place. Lord Longu looked at Lord Binghan and Lord Shengfeng, and at this glance, Lord Binghan and Lord Shengfeng trembled and did not dare to move. The strength is too weak, the potential is average, and there is not much chance to enter the Grey Fog statue, but since they promised, let them also enter. Immediately, everyone went in one by one, but Lord Longu naturally did not go in, maybe he had gone in before. Unexpected, Lord Longu's expression changed, and he said, Go in quickly, there is a legendary lord coming. Whoa! A legendary lord of No Holy Land quickly rushed into the crack of the Grey Fog stone statue and rushed in from the crack. Lord Binghan and Lord of Holy Peak were too weak. As soon as they entered, they couldn't bear the bombardment of the entrance force and were quickly injured. At the critical moment, Yi Tian protected them, and this was the only help he could do. 860 inches thanks to the Endless Lord. Lord Binghan and Lord of Holy Peak said gratefully. If it wasn't for Yi Tian, they would probably not be able to get in, and they would waste this opportunity in vain. It was at this time that Lord Longu fought against a famous legendary lord. Boom! The endless time and space of the Source Sea are shaking, and large areas are collapsing. Fortunately, they only fought 1 or 2 times before they stopped completely, otherwise the loss to Yuanai would be too great. Lord Longu, it's really too much for you to have no Holy Land. You sent 100 legendary lords in all of a sudden, occupying all the opportunities this time. A legendary lord said angrily. Lord Longu sneered. You can wait until they come out this time, find the Grey Fog stone statue, and then send the legendary lord to enter. If we can stop or catch up with the Grey Fog statue, will we still argue with you here? Another legendary realm lord was angry. At this time, Lord Longu saw that all 100 legendary lords had entered, so he moved out of the way and said, The Grey Fog stone statue is there, if you can enter, then go in, I will not stop it. You are cruel. One after another, the lords of the legendary realm retreated. Since they came a step late, there is nothing they can do. Who made Junwu Holy Land move so fast? They only received a little news, and immediately came over to confirm, but it turned out to be a step late. Soon, these legendary lords all left. Chapter 17-16 Grey Mist Bridge, Grey Mist Eternal Way. Yi Tian and others are not very clear about what happened outside the Grey Fog Stone statue. At this moment, everyone quickly came to the Grey Mist Bridge. Some half-step legend realm lords of the true No Holy Land have indeed heard of the Grey Fog Stone statue, but they have never come in. After all, there are only 100 places for the Grey Mist statue every time it is born. This number of places is too small. When you know the news, you will not be able to catch up. There are only those legendary lords who have spent too long and experienced many scenes of the birth of Grey Fog statues. They must have been there. At this time, many legendary lords were quite excited, because the Grey Fog statue was also an incomparably huge opportunity for them. If they were lucky, it would be enough to make a huge change in their destiny. Whoa whoa, a famous legendary realm lord rushed into the bridge. They were not afraid of danger. Basically, the legendary realm lord who dared to come here sent clones. Even if they fell, they would only lose one clone. Of course, they also held up various defenses. After all, once they fell, they would miss the opportunity here. However, soon, these legendary lords returned to the entrance of the bridge one by one. Immediately, they were dumbfounded. At this time, Lord Wushwang opened his mouth and said, "This bridge is called the Grey Mist Bridge, and it is not possible to cross it by luck. According to rumors, if you want to pass the Grey Mist Bridge, you must start from the innate eternal rules. It would be even better to understand the eternal way on the Bridge of Grey Fog. However, the eternal way of Grey Fog is very difficult to comprehend. But what the reward is, then I don't quite know. 1 inch. It turns out that, thank you Lord Wushwang. A legendary realm lord thanked. Whoa whoa, the half-step legend realm lords who really have no holy place rushed to the Grey Fog Bridge one by one, and did not come out for a long time. Obviously, the strength of the half-step legend realm is still strong enough, and the mastery of the innate eternal rules is far beyond these realms. Legendary lords and legendary lords of transcendence. Therefore, the Grey Mist Bridge could not stop these half-step legendary realm lords at all. In fact, the legendary lords of the transcendental realm can basically cross the treacherous Grey Fog Bridge, but the legendary lords of the realm need a certain amount of time to understand before they can pass the treacherous Grey Mist Bridge. As for Lord Binghan and Lord Holy Peak, it was actually impossible to cross the treacherous Bridge of Grey Fog, so Lord Longu said that giving them 2 places was a waste, but this was Yi Tian's promise. Moreover, it is also beneficial for Lord Binghan and Lord of Shengfeng to stay here all the time, and it is enough to understand something, which is of great help to their strength. Yi Tian didn't care about other progress, he was still silently comprehending on the Grey Fog Bridge. Time passed, and in the blink of an eye, hundreds of thousands of eternal years passed. This day, ha ha ha, Yi Tian laughed in his heart, he finally realized the eternal Tao of Grey Fog. I have to say that this eternal Tao is indeed very difficult. If it wasn't for his legendary ancestors with various attributes, coupled with the special environment here, he would really not be able to comprehend the Grey Mist Eternal Tao. Grey Mist Eternal Tao involves too many innate eternal rules, and after its power and potential are many times higher than other eternal Tao, it can be used as Yi Tian's major in eternal Tao in the future. Not only has Grey Fog Eternal Tao cultivation started, but Hunyuan Eternal Tao and Wansheng Eternal Tao are also in the realm of great achievement. Moreover, Yi Tian is no longer disturbed by the Grey Fog Bridge, he can easily pass through the Grey Fog Bridge. So, Yi Tian walked on the Grey Mist Bridge, and never returned to the entrance of the Grey Mist Bridge, but kept walking like this. After a long time, he finally reached the end of the Grey Mist Bridge. One step out, the Grey Fog Bridge disappeared. Wow! One thing fell into Yi Tian's hands, and this was the reward for crossing the Grey Mist Bridge. This is a set of armor. Eternal treasure. No, it doesn't have the breath of eternal treasure, but it has the aura of the eternal Tao of Grey Mist. This thing should be an eternal secret treasure that is comparable to the eternal treasure and fits the Grey Mist Eternal Tao. 1. Yi Tian immersed the power of the eternal Tao in the Grey Fog and quickly refined it. Wow, the battle armor was worn on Yi Tian's body, completely fitting with Yi Tian. At this time, Yi Tian felt that his strength was greatly improved, and his defense was also increased many times. What's more, his Grey Fog Eternal Tao has also been increased. Grey Mist Armor. This is the name of the armor. From the point of view of value, this thing is comparable to an eternal treasure, and to Yi Tian, it is much more precious than ordinary eternal treasures. There is such a reward for crossing the Grey Fog Bridge, the reward is too rich. Yi Tian muttered. No wonder Junwu Holy Land attaches so much importance to the Grey Fog statue, and a legendary lord came to guard it in person, because the reward is indeed very rich, and for the legendary lord, this is a great opportunity. As long as you cross the Grey Fog Bridge, even if you only get one reward, it's worth it. It is conceivable that the strength of the true Holy Land can be improved a lot after coming out of the Grey Fog statue. Yi Tian continued to fly forward, and soon saw the figures of some legendary lords. Among these people, there are a few legendary lords of the realm and a number of legendary lords of detachment, but they have not seen the figure of the half-step legendary lord. Obviously, the half-step legendary lord has already gone to the next level. Quote. Endless Lord, the Endless Lord, the Endless Lord. These legendary lords were shocked when they saw Yi Tian. Yi Tian's cultivation base was only the legendary lord of the perfection realm, and it was so shocking to them that he crossed the bridge of Grey Fog so quickly. Even some legendary lords of the transcendental realm took a while to pass through the treacherous Grey Fog Bridge, and now there are still some legendary lords of the realm who still have not crossed the treacherous Grey Mist Bridge. You must know that those who are eligible for a place to come to the Grey Mist Stone statue, King Qian's domain realm legendary lord, are not just ordinary domain realm legendary lords, they are all real top-notch existences among domain realm legendary lords. Of course, they were not too shocked and tangled, and they still needed to pass through here before they could move on. It is a river, and a river composed of grey fog. It flows in this area, and it cannot be bypassed. It must fly through this long river of grey fog. Lords, what's going on here? Yi Tian asked. At this time, a legendary lord of transcendence said, "This is the long river of grey fog, you must fly over it, and if you can't fly past, you will fall into the long river of grey fog. Unlike the bridge of grey fog, this place is very dangerous. Falling into the long river of grey fog, even the legendary lord of the realm has to pay a great price to break free. Therefore, every attempt has to pay a great price. Because of this, these legendary lords did not dare to try indiscriminately." Chapter 17:17 Cultivation in the Long River of Grey Fog, 5th Order Eternal Will. Rivers of Grey Fog. 1. Yi Tian looked at the long river of grey fog in front of him, did not try to fly over, but silently realized the mystery. As time passed, Yi Tian gradually came to know some clues in the long river of grey fog. This long river of grey fog is different from the treacherous bridge of grey mist. The treacherous bridge of grey mist tests the mastery of the innate eternal rules, while the long river of grey mist tests not the innate eternal rules, but the will. When crossing the long river of grey fog, if you are weak-willed, you will be affected by the long river of grey fog, and you will fall into the long river of grey fog. Therefore, this level tests the strength of willpower. The will of those legendary lords of the realm and the legendary lords of the transcendence have actually reached the 5th order eternal will, and the will of the legendary lords of the transcendence is extremely powerful, and it is reasonable to say that they should be able to pass through the long river of grey fog, but in fact, the 5th order eternal will is the same as the 5th order eternal will. There is also a difference in the will of eternity. Some legendary lords just blindly enhance the eternal will and use various resources to enhance the willpower, but these willpowers are very fragile, and some 4th order eternal wills are 4th order eternal wills that have been tempered and tempered. To some extent, the will the tenacity is comparable to those 5th order wills. For example, in this long river of grey fog, the legendary lord of 860 transcendence realm cannot pass through. There is no doubt that there is a defect in his will, and only by making up for the defect can he pass the long river of grey fog. Yi Tian felt that his will was extremely tenacious and stable, but his will did not reach the 5th rank, so he had little hope of passing the long river of grey fog. For this purpose, he must raise his will to the 5th order eternal will as soon as possible before he can pass the long river of grey fog. But how can the eternal will be promoted so easily? It must take a long time. While others were thinking hard about how to get through the long river of grey fog, Yi Tian was thinking about the role of the long river of grey fog. The Grey Mist Bridge has the effect of improving the innate eternal rules in many eternal ways, and the Grey Mist River must have great benefits. It is not just a checkpoint. Before at the level of the Grey Mist Bridge, one had to enter it in order to realize the benefits. Could it be that this river of grey mist also has to enter into the long river of grey mist to realize the benefits? Yi Tian guessed. But other legendary lords also fell into the long river of grey fog before, and they could break free at a great price. If they didn't come out for a long time, they would surely fall. Even the transcendental lord dare not enter the long river of grey fog. He is now a legendary lord of the perfection realm. Can he survive in the long river of grey fog? No, the grey fog is aimed at the will. If the will of the detachment is not strong, it is not much better than the legendary lord of the realm in resisting the power attack of the grey fog. My will is actually very strong, even if it is only 4th order, but I still have the grey fog armor, and I understand the eternal way of grey fog, and I really hope to persist in the long river of grey fog for a long time. Yi Tian thought to himself. Of course, if he tried, he would take a very big risk. Once he really can't break free, causing the duplicate body to fall here, the grey fog battle armor may fall to the bottom of the long river of grey fog. Hard to get it back. Take a gamble, Yi Tian decided. So, Yi Tian rushed towards the long river of grey fog. Endless Lord, be careful, other legendary lords reminded. Not long after Yi Tian flew into the long river of grey fog, his body fell into the long river of grey fog uncontrollably. Soon, he was immersed in the long river of grey fog. Time passed by, Yi Tian did not rush out of the long river of grey fog. At this time, a detached lord sighed. This clone of the Endless Lord is afraid that it will fall in the long river of grey fog. Maybe the benefits obtained from the bridge of grey fog will also fall into the long river of grey fog. The loss this time is too big. The Endless Lord is too impulsive. Even the legendary Lord of Transcendence can't rush through the long river of grey fog. He is a legendary Lord of Perfection. He shouldn't go there. It's not bad to just give up. What they didn't know, CJFI, was that Yi Tian's copy body did not fall, but persisted under the long river of grey fog. It's just that the long river of grey fog has imprisoned the will of the legendary lord, and it is difficult to detect the will under the long river of grey fog, so they do not know Yi Tian's situation. A force after another invaded Yi Tian's body, impacting his will and body. At this time, Yi Tian's grey fog eternal Tao cooperated with the grey fog armor to play an effect, causing him to persist here. Under the impact of the grey fog river's power, Yi Tian was able to discover the weakness of his will, and the long river of grey fog attacked his will again and again, which was equivalent to tempering his will and beating his will all the time. As long as he can persevere, his will be improved at a terrifying speed, and this improvement is not a vain improvement, but a real improvement in diligence, which is incomparably strong, like being tempered by billions of beatings. It turns out that this is the real benefit of the long river of grey fog. The mysterious powerhouse who built the bridge of grey fog and the long river of grey fog should be an eternal controller, right? Yi Tian guessed. As time passed, Yi Tian could not hold on anymore. If he were an ordinary person, he would have to find a way to leave the river of grey fog, and then slowly recover from his injuries. After the injury was in good condition, he would enter the river of grey fog to practice. But Yi Tian didn't need to do this. He directly copied a complete copy body, and immediately transferred the grey fog battle armor to the newly copied copy body, so that he could continue to persist for a long time. In this way, Yi Tian has been working hard to temper his will in the long river of grey fog. As time passed, his will not only became stronger and stronger, but also became more and more pure and stable. And he is also opening up one after another will world. These will worlds surround the will source C, so that his will has been improved to a certain extent. Finally, after nearly 10,000 eternal years of ascetic cultivation, Yi Tian's will reach the limit of the 4th order will. This day, Yi Tian's will ushered in a breakthrough. Boom! The 4th order eternal will is transforming into the 5th order eternal will. This transformation is a truly huge transformation. The willpower continues to soar, and even the source of will is expanding. After a long time, the transformation ended, and Yi Tian's willpower increased nearly 100 times in magnitude, and each will became more solid, pure and powerful. After the will has transformed to the 5th order will, and then cooperated with the grey fog armor, Yi Tian felt that he could easily cross the long river of grey fog. It's time to leave the river of grey fog, Yi Tian secretly said. However, he will leave a duplicate body to continue to temper his will in this level, and the other duplicate body will go to the next level through the long river of grey fog. Chapter 17:18 A Treasure Map, Breakthrough, Legendary Lord of the Realm. Yi Tian came out of the long river of grey fog, and when those legendary lords saw that Yi Tian's duplicate body did not fall, they were all dumbfounded. Oh my god, the avatar of the Endless Lord actually stayed in the long river of grey fog, and did not fall. How did he do it? The long river of grey fog will continue to attack us. If the will is flawed or the will is not strong enough, it will not be able to stay for long. Once the injury is too heavy, it will be impossible to break free from the long river of grey fog, for such a long time. I guess the Endless Lord should have a treasure that can protect him from the invasion of the grey fog in the long river. Since the Endless Lord is not afraid of the long river of grey fog, why did he stay in the long river of grey fog before he came out? The legendary lords present were not stupid, and they quickly guessed the reason. Practice. The long river of gray fog can assist in cultivation, temper the will, and even make up for the shortcomings. This is the real reason why Yi Tian stays in the long river of gray fog. Many legendary lords have guessed the reason, but they dare not go down. Without him, just because they can't stay in the long river of gray fog, they can't achieve the effective cultivation. However, some detached legendary lords flew into the long river of gray fog, and they were sure to stay for a long time. More importantly, their willpower has long been enough, just flawed. It is too difficult to make up for the defects. Now they know that this river of gray fog may help them temper their will to make up for the defects. Even if the cost is high, they have to try it. As long as the defects are made up, they can pass the river of gray fog. You can also get another amazing treasure or chance. Soon, Yi Tian passed the long river of gray fog. At this time, a treasure fell into Yi Tian's hands. Here is a picture. Yi Tian took a brief look, and his consciousness was quickly immersed in it. In this picture, Yi Tian saw the fusion of all things, saw the fusion of will and innate eternal rules. The fusion of will and innate eternal rules became the field of will rules, and the field of will rules continued to grow, turning into the world of will rules. This is, quote, Yi Tian was shocked. A small picture actually perfectly showed the cultivation between the legendary lord of the perfection realm, the legendary lord of the realm, and even the legendary lord of the transcendence. What kind of realm can this be done? It can be said that such a picture is simply too high. Even if there is no holy place, such a treasure map cannot be produced. Is it possible that everyone has such a treasure? Yi Tian wondered. In fact, other people's treasures are not as precious as his picture at all, only because he has crossed the long river of gray fog with the cultivation of the legendary lord of the perfection realm, and this is such an amazing reward. At this time, Yi Tian was very excited. With this picture, it is not difficult for him to step into the legendary lord of the realm, and even the cultivation in the realm of the legendary lord of the realm will be smooth all the way. This picture alone is too valuable. In order to prevent his own copy body from falling in the next level, Yi Tian condensed another copy body with this picture, and did not go to the next level, and this copy body continued to advance. Soon, Yi Tian came to the next level. Here, he met several legendary domain lords, some transcendental lords, and several half-step legendary lords, but the Frostless Lord was not here. Obviously the Frostless Lord passed this level. This level is a sea of fire, a sea of gray fire. After inquiries, Yi Tian knew the situation of this level. This place is called the Sea of Gray Fog and Fire. You must pass through the Sea of Gray Fog and Fire to pass. The Sea of Gray Fog and Fire is aimed at the body. The body is not strong enough. Before, the bodies of 3 legendary lords of transcendence had been burned to ashes, and there was no way to heal them. It was considered that they had fallen here. Even if they were clones, the loss would not be small. Even the body of the legendary lord of transcendence can't bear the sea of gray fog and fire, let alone the legendary lord of the realm. This level, I'm afraid it's sad. Yi Tian frowned. Of course, he will not give up. On the other side, Yi Tian's cloned body is using that picture to fully understand and cultivate, striving to improve his cultivation to the legendary lord of the realm as soon as possible. 2 kinds of ordinary eternal Tao, plus the entry-level gray fog eternal Tao. The will has also reached the 5th order. In fact, Yi Tian is qualified to attack the realm of the legendary lord of the realm. The premise is that he can condense the field of will rules. Ask for flowers. And the process from the legendary lord of the perfection realm to the field of the rules of condensing will is very long. Without the help of that picture, Yi Tian would need at least tens of millions of eternity years, or even longer, to condense the field of will rules. But now that he has that treasure map, Yi Tian is sure to condense the field of will rules within 100,000 eternal years. Let's not go through this 3rd level first, focus on training, and attack the legendary lord of the realm. Only after breaking through to the legendary lord of the realm will my body experience another qualitative change, and I will have the hope of breaking through the sea of gray fog and fire. Yi Tian Dark Road. Time passed slowly like this, and 100,000 eternal years passed in a blink of an eye. 0. During such a long period of time, none of the legendary lords who had been stopped before had passed through, and they were still entangled here. At this time, Yi Tian had already fused his will with the innate eternal rules to a certain extent outside the body, and he was about to condense the field of will rules. This day, a terrifying will rule power spread from Yi Tian's body, diffused into the endless territory around, and gradually formed a field. In this field of will rules, Yi Tian can make the rules dissipate with a single thought, and the world can be reborn with a single thought. In the field of will rules, one world after another began to be born, and some uninhabited worlds turned into ashes under Yi Tian's thought. Time and space are stagnant, and the source sea has stopped running. This is the power of the field of will rules. Not only that, Yi Tian's body also began to transform, and the endless source of source energy poured into his body, helping him to promote his body to truly complete the transformation. At this time, Yi Tian's body was transforming, and the other 5 cloned bodies were also breaking through and transforming. Before the sea of fog and fire, those legendary lords of transcendence and several half-step legendary lords looked at Yi Tian in surprise. I remember that it didn't take long for the Endless Lord to join the real Holy Land. He was only a legendary lord of the initial realm at the beginning, and he was promoted to the legendary lord of the realm in such a short time. This kind of cultivation speed is too enchanting, completely breaking their cognition. Chapter 17-19 Changing the Particle Structure, Yi Tian and Hash-039's attempt. After a long time, Yi Tian completed his transformation and stabilized his realm. At this time, Yi Tian is already a true domain realm legendary lord. Although there is still some gap between him and those top domain realm legendary lords in terms of realm, and he can't even compare with the transcendental realm legendary lords, he has narrowed the relationship with them. Gap. In addition, Yi Tian's true strength is probably comparable to the top legendary lord of the realm, second only to the legendary lord of transcendence. However, even a few half-step legend realm lords were stopped by the sea of grey fog and fire, and it was still very difficult to pass this level. But if he breaks through the sea of grey fog and fire with the cultivation base of the legendary lord of the realm, the reward he will get will be very amazing. At this time, a half-step legendary realm lord entered the sea of grey fog and fire, and Yi Tian could just watch it. 860. The half-step legendary lord is the Wumeng lord who really has no holy land. His reputation is slightly weaker than that of the Frost-free lord. Now it seems that his strength should be much worse, but he is still a half-step legendary lord. Beyond the existence of Yi Tian. But these levels in the grey fog statue, sometimes it is not strong enough to pass through. For example, Yi Tian's strength is not as good as the legendary lord of transcendence, and he came here, and some legendary lords of transcendence have not yet crossed the long river of grey fog. Woolen cloth. Therefore, strength is only a part, and the foundation is perfect and there are no defects, which is the key to easily passing the level. Boom! Lord Wumeng stepped into the sea of grey fog and fire, and the endless flame power invaded the body of Lord Wumeng, burning his body. Yi Tian can see it clearly, that flame power is not a real flame, but a special power inside the flame. This power can disintegrate the eternal force. If the flesh is not strong enough, the eternal force will be disintegrated and the flesh will collapse directly. Soon, Lord Wumeng reached the sea of grey fog and fire, but there were also some cracks in his body. These cracks were difficult to repair, but the problem was not too big. After a while, Lord Wumeng finally reached the end of the sea of grey fog and fire, but the cracks on his body were already dense. However, Lord Wumeng finally walked through the sea of grey fog and fire. Afterwards, several other half-step legend realm lords also tried to cross the sea of grey fog and fire, and they all made it through at the cost of serious injuries. After all, these half-step legend realm lords are only a little short of being able to break through, and these years have been perfecting their bodies. If they still can't pass, it proves that their talents are too spicy. However, to be able to become a half-step legendary lord, there is no natural talent, so it is inevitable for them to pass through the sea of grey fog and fire. As these half-step legendary lords passed through the sea of grey fog and fire, only the detached lords present and several legendary lords of the realm remained. The sea of grey fog and fire is not like the long river of grey fog. It is difficult to get out when entering, so Yi Tian is going to give it a try. After all, no matter how you observe others breaking through the sea of grey fog and fire, it is not as profound as the insight from your own experiments. Wow! Yi Tian stepped into the sea of grey fog and fire, and endless flames poured into his body. No matter how he defended, it was useless. Even the grey fog battle armor was useless in the face of such a power invasion. This power is aimed at the body itself, and no defenses or treasures can stop it. Of course, if the strength is strong enough, such as the legendary lord of the legendary realm, it may be able to block these flames. Soon, Yi Tian withdrew from the sea of grey fog and fire. After this personal test and the previous observation of several half-step legendary realm lords crossing the sea of grey fog and fire, Yi Tian has a general understanding of some of the conditions of the sea of grey fog and fire. The sea of grey fog and fire tests the basic strength of the body. For example, both the legendary lords of the transcendental realm, the body looks the same, and the eternal force looks the same, but some legendary lords of transcendence realm have stronger physical foundations, because the will, the body, the innate eternity, the eternal particles formed after the rules are merged are different. If the eternal particles in the body of a legendary lord of transcendence are not strong, they will easily be disintegrated by the sea of grey fog and fire, causing the body to collapse. At this time, no matter how powerful you are, it is useless. And just now, Yi Tian felt that his body was about to collapse, and the whole of the eternal particles in his body was not too strong. Maybe he has reached the legendary lord of transcendence and can cross the sea of grey fog and fire, but now he is only the legendary lord of the realm, so he cannot cross the sea of grey fog and fire, but he can hold on for a few breaths in the sea of grey fog and fire. I want to go from the legendary lord of the realm to the legendary lord of the transcendence. I'm afraid it will take a long time. The birth of the grey fog statue is not a permanent place for people to cultivate here. Even if the 100 lives of the grey fog statue are forcibly inseparable. If I go, I will be forcibly kicked out by the grey fog stone statue, so I can't wait until the day when I break through the legendary lord of transcendence. I must change my eternal particle structure, only this way will work. Yi Tian thought to himself. It is very difficult to change its own eternal particle structure. Because of the legendary lord of the realm, his body and will, and the innate eternal rules are completely integrated, forming a new eternal body, the eternal force is all over the body, and the eternal particles are completely stable, and it is difficult to change the body structure. However, it is not impossible to change, otherwise the meaning of this level will not exist. Most legendary lords can only make partial changes, such as changing the internal arrangement of the eternal particles, but in the realm of the legendary lord of the realm, the arrangement of the eternal particles in the body is almost perfect. If you want to change it to the most perfect level, help not very big. This is also the reason why many legendary lords of transcendence have been stopped and do not know what to do. If you want to completely change this situation, you can only completely change the body's eternal particle structure, and the consequences of doing this in 5.8 are very serious. But once it succeeds, it will directly usher in the true transformation of strength, and the body will become extremely strong. Even the power of the sea of fire and fog is difficult to shake. Others dare not take the second step, but Yi Tian dares to take it. Then test it with other clones. Yi Tian decided. Afterwards, he began to use the cloned body to test, to change his particle structure from the root, and to combine it into the most perfect particle structure, rather than random combination, otherwise, it would be meaningless to change the structure. It can only be changed for the better, not for the worse. And just like that, 300,000 eternal years have passed. Chapter 1720 The Blood Tissue of Xian Legendary Creatures. Yi Tian went through countless attempts, from the beginning without any results, to gradually achieving results, and once the results were achieved, he entered the sea of fog and fire to verify, so as to find out the defects of his particle structure. Therefore, the study of 300,000 eternal years finally allowed him to modify his particle structure to the most stable level. This day, every body of Yi Tian began to reshape the body with a new particle structure. Yi Tian's body turned into countless wills, innate eternal rules and countless body particles, and immediately began to reorganize, and the reorganization must be completed in a short period of time, otherwise the body's self-healing and recovery ability will forcefully restore the body structure to previous degree. In an instant, the particle structure was reshaped. Yi Tian's body remodeling was completed, and a large amount of source energy began to stabilize the newly remodeled body. The remodeling is complete. My physical strength has not improved much, but my body structure has stabilized tenfold. 1. Yi Tian muttered. Before, he always thought that his body was perfect, but after passing through the sea of fog and fire, he knew that there was a more perfect body structure. If he hadn't encountered the sea of grey fog and fire, he wouldn't have thought about rebuilding his body. 29. It can be said that the opportunity of the grey fog stone statue this time has allowed him to truly complete a transformation. It's time to try to cross the sea of fog and fire. 1. Yi Tian walked into the sea of grey fog and fire, and endless flames poured into his body, trying to disintegrate his body. Although Yi Tian's body is weak, but the eternal particle structure is extremely stable, so he resists it abruptly. He kept walking forward, attracting the attention of many legendary lords of detachment. What? The endless lord is still advancing in the sea of grey fog and fire, how did he persevere? They were stunned. Before, Yi Tian also entered the sea of grey fog and fire, but they all came out very quickly, but this time he kept moving forward. And they did not dare to do this, otherwise they would not be able to withstand the flames, and their bodies would collapse directly, causing this clone to fall. When Yi Tian walked halfway through the sea of grey fog and fire, the legendary lords of transcendence who were present didn't know what to say. If Yi Tian passed through the sea of grey fog and fire, but these legendary lords of transcendence couldn't pass, wouldn't it be too embarrassing? After a while, Yi Tian was about to pass through the sea of grey fog and fire. Although his body was full of cracks and seemed to be about to collapse, the particle structure of his body was too stable, so it was still very early for him to truly collapse. Finally, the sea of grey fog and fire disappeared, and Yi Tian crossed the sea of grey fog and fire. At the other end of the sea of grey fog and fire, a group of legendary lords of transcendence were envious and at the same time did not understand. Yi Tian, the legendary lord of the realm who had just broken through, should be inferior to them in terms of cultivation, will and mastery of the eternal way. Why can they cross the sea of grey fog and fire, but they can't? Could it be that grey mist and fire sea specially took care of Yi Tian, but this is unlikely. Yi Tian has just crossed the sea of grey fog and fire, and a reward is in hand. This reward is somewhat special. It is packed in a bottle with a blood tissue in it. And this bottle is not simple. Yi Tian can't see any material, but when he squeezes it hard, it is like an ordinary person pinching a glass bottle, and he can't squeeze it at all. Maybe it's a bottle refined by the Eternal Master. Yi Tian guessed. The purpose of this bottle is to carry that blood tissue, or to have the effect of sealing. Therefore, Yi Tian would not do it if he could really break the bottle. Immediately, Yi Tian used his will to spread over, and the bottle did not block Yi Tian's will. So, Yi Tian's will touched that piece of blood tissue. Boom! A terrifying aura erupted from the blood tissue, which almost brought heavy damage to Yi Tian's will. Immediately, Yi Tian's will withdrew from the bottle, his face slightly pale. What kind of creature's blood is this, so terrifying? Yi Tian said in shock. But immediately, he was excited. Because this creature's blood tissue is alive and contains the creature's body structure, Yi Tian can judge that the creature's body is far beyond the lord of the legendary realm, and its body is definitely beyond the category of the eternal body. From the legendary lord of the realm to the legendary lord of the detachment, the most important thing is detachment, not only the detachment of the domain of will rules, but also the need for physical detachment. How does the body break free? Then it must be promoted from the eternal body. The eight-pole powerhouse in the half-step eternal realm has already raised the eternal body to the transcendence realm, but that is the division and noun of the source sea. In the boundless sea, the detachment of the legendary lord of detachment refers to the category of detachment from the eternal body, which itself is not the eternal body, but a realm above the eternal body. These two kinds of detachment have different meanings. In the infinite sea, the physique of the legendary lord of transcendence is called the legendary body. The legendary body is a physique that is above the eternal body. It belongs to the legend. It is a realm that cannot be crossed by ordinary legendary realms. It surpasses the eternal body, so it is called the meaning of detachment. Of course, the body of the legendary lord of transcendence is not the real legendary body, but only has the characteristics of the legendary body. Only the body of the legendary lord can be called the real legendary body. The legendary body plus the will to rule the world is the real symbol of the legendary lord of detachment. As for the creature 860 to which this piece of blood tissue in Yi Tian's hands belongs, its body is a legendary body, and it is not an ordinary legendary body, but a top-notch legendary body, which can be called the Xeon legendary body. In the infinite sea, the Xeon legendary body is also a legend, and the bodies of many legendary realm lords are not the Xeon legendary body, and even the Xeon legendary body cannot be seen. And now, Yi Tian has obtained the blood tissue of the Xeon legendary creature. The strongest legendary creatures are probably invincible among the legendary lords, and only the eternal master can kill them. Yi Tian secretly said. He put away the bottle and moved on immediately. As for the research on the Xeon legendary body, I will talk about it later, this is not the place for research. Soon, we came to the place. Here, all the legendary realm lords of the Holy Land were stopped, and none of them passed. And Yi Tian's arrival also made them dumbfounded. Endless Lord, you passed the sea of grey fog and fire. Lord Frostless said incredulously. She has watched Yi Tian grow up from the initial realm legendary lord all the way, and now she has been promoted to the realm legendary lord. The speed is nothing more than that. How could she have passed through the sea of grey fog and fire? Those half-step legendary realm lords were stopped for a period of time, but they still passed through with serious injuries. And Yi Tian's strength is many times worse than the half-step legendary realm.